IAA in its centennial year is proud to bring you the 1995 high school football finals, live from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. The 20th annual state football finals are brought to you by the Rural Insurance Companies, providing Wisconsin families and businesses with a full line of insurance needs. M&I Bank is proud to sponsor WIAA football and congratulates this year's finalists. M&I Bank, we're just the partner you need. And by Klein Dickert, we've got glass for your truck or car. 7 Wisconsin locations to serve you, and proud to be a WIAA sponsor partner.
Exclusively on News Channel 8.
The 1995 WIAA High School Football Championships are brought to you on WKBT by Farm and Fleet, Subway, Darrell Power, and St. Mary's University of Minnesota.
From the frozen tundra of Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, it is the WIAA Division II State Championship football game between the Monroe Cheesemakers and the Menomonie Indians. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Sosha, along with Ken Golomsky, the head football coach at Ashwaubenon High School. Coach, both of these teams have just been dynasty-type teams over the last few years. Both like to run the ball, and they do it effectively. We're going to start by looking at this guy, number 25, Mike Lunderville from Menomonie. He's really been hot the last half of the season.
Last 5 games has really come on. Amassed over 100 yards in each ball game, scored a bunch of touchdowns. Really played tough in a physical ball game against Seymour last week.
Nate Lancaster for the Monroe Cheesemakers has more than 1,800 yards all by himself this year. How do you stop this guy?
I don't know how you stop. No one has stopped him yet. 150 yards is a bad game for him. He's a fast 4.5, and he's been, since day one, been outstanding in the backfield.
Monroe against Menomonie for the Division II State Championship. We'll be back with the opening kickoff after this break. Now a word from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies, M&I Banks, and Klein Dickert Glass.
I'll be working till the sun goes down. Done spent the time, another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
The largest insect is a dragonfly with a wingspan of over 2 feet. Before Columbus discovered America, most people believed the world was flat. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office for quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
We are back at Camp Randall Stadium. The Monroe Cheesemakers will receive the opening kickoff. The Menomonie Indians will kick off. Jim Sosha, Ken Golomsky here. Coach, this is a long-awaited matchup. These two teams have seen each other before, but the anticipation has been incredible.
Yeah, you have 2 of the finest coaches in the state and 2 of the best programs in the state. Last time they met, Menomonie came away 6-3, just prior to taking on Ashwaubenon, I remember, back here at Camp Randall in a very close ball game and a cold day in lacrosse. So I'm sure there's some memories left over. Mr. Stengel, the quarterback from Monroe, was the field goal kicker that day and missed one. It didn't, well, if he would have made it, it would have tied the game. But at the time, it was a missed field goal. And I think he'd like an opportunity to get that back again.
Okay, we're just about set to go. It's number 21, Mike Weir, doing the kicking for Menomonie. Good-sized crowd here on a very Arctic-like night at Camp Randall Stadium. But everybody's bundled up. This is Wisconsin, and this is November. And this is the WIAA Division II State Championship football game. It ought to be a good one. We are underway. Short kickoff coming down to Ryan Weiss out to about the 27-yard line, and Monroe will take over right there.
Monroe runs out of an I back. That's their primary set. Lancaster will carry the ball most of the night. They like to toss, sweep, the power off, tackle, and ISO up the middle. Menomonie will counter with that. They play a 53 defense. They'll do a lot of shooting of their linebackers. And pay particular note to the small-sized lineman Menomonie has, but they get so low they just submarine people and kneecap them and cause all kinds of piles and problems for people.
1st and 10 for Monroe. Brad Stengel, number 15, is the quarterback. Lancaster and Teasdale, the running backs behind him, and they give it to their go-to guy. That would be Nate Lancaster out to about the 30-yard line. Short gain for him. Mike Schlosser in on the tackle for Menomonie. So after a 2-yard gain, brings up a 2nd and 8.
Schlosser was on the move and shot a gap and picked him up.
Okay, take a look at now the starting defense for Menomonie. There's the big guys up front. They'll go with, right now, a 5-2 alignment. We'll get the rest of the defenders in just a minute. 2nd down and 8 for Monroe. They'll give it again to Lancaster, and again, not much doing up the middle. Maybe 2 more yards max.
That's characteristic of Menomonie defense. A lot of people swarming, a lot of hats on the ball. They'll be very quick, very active, and very aggressive.
Okay, here's the rest of the defense. Welch, King, Phillips, Smeltzer, Amitz, and Anderson. Menomonie plays very tough, aggressive, swarming defense, as Coach Golomsky has told us. So, big play right off the bat. 3rd down and about 5 for the Cheesemakers. They need to get the ball just beyond the 42-yard line. Just underway here in the Division II championship game. Stengel again to Lancaster. 2nd effort, and he's going to be close, but I think a little short. Coach Lancaster has accounted for 1,800 out of their 3,400 total yards, and they're making, there's no mystery who they're going to give the ball to.
They're going to give him the ball deep in the backfield, and regardless if he does not get off the mark right away, about every 8 or 9 plays, he's going to bust one for 30 yards or more. So he's got 3 in, hold on to your hats on next possession.
All right, Stengel, the quarterback and the kicker. He's also the punter. He will boot it away. He'll get it off from about his 25-yard line. It's Mike Weir and Eric Amit back deep at their own 25-yard line. No pressure at all. It's kind of a short kick, but it's going to take a good Monroe bounce. And it rolls out of bounds, still in bounds, rolls out at about the 18-yard line. So it wasn't pretty, but on a cold night, you might as well use the frozen tundra to your advantage.
Yeah, hard turf and a good roll. They had set up a wall on the left side, but the ball was never received, or the carrier never had the opportunity to get to the wall.
The Menomonie Indians will go with number 10, senior quarterback Paul Wieland. Not a big guy, but he's a good quarterback. 6'1", and he only weighs 141 pounds. They'll go with Joe Kais, number 34, in the backfield, and the guy we talked about in our pregame show, Mike Lunderville, number 25, who has really been their hot back lately, especially over the last 5 games of the year. 9:41 to go. This is the first possession of the game for Menomonie, and they will give it to Lunderville, and not much room up the middle. Okay, let's take a look at that Cheesemaker defense. First of all, we're going to start out with the guys up front. It's Martin, Lamont, Burns, and Tom Dry. Linebackers are Lou, Heffley, and Stuckey. And it's Lancaster, Ills, Mueller, and King in the defensive backfield. 2nd down and 8 for the Indians from their own 20-yard line.
Monroe lines up in a 43 with 2 deep.
Lunderville again over the left guard and maybe picks up 2 more.
That's their base defense. You won't see them move around so much. They've got good size in their front 4, and they'll just take gaps and keep people off the linebackers.
Okay, let's take a look at that Menomonie Indian starting offense. Up front, it's Barnhart, Kistner, Guth, Martin, and Hendrickson. And the rest of that offense coming up in just a minute. 3rd down, and we'll call it 6 yards to go for Menomonie from their own 22. They'll keep it on the ground again, and they're going to be stopped a couple yards short. That was number 21, Mike Weir. And so after 3 plays, it's out of there for the Menomonie offense. They'll kick it away.
3 and out, 3 and out. They'll spend some time probing each other, trying to find a weak spot in each other's defense, and then try to capitalize on that.
So Monroe should come out of this exchange of punts in pretty good field position. Very good field position. Not a good kick. But this one also takes a pretty decent roll. It goes out of bounds on the 43-yard line. No score midway through the first quarter between Monroe and Menomonie. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Bill Kais, Chevrolet Oldsmobile, congratulates the Menomonie High School football team on another outstanding year. Bill Keyes is your #1 Chevrolet Olds dealer.
Get ready for winter and the holidays with Farm & Fleet. A Chamberlain half-horsepower Whisper garage door opener, just $199.99. Farm & Fleet has Fashion Magic truck seat covers. Choose from assorted styles. Each is easy to install and wash, just $19.99. Dremel Moto tool kits, ideal for grinding, drilling, polishing, sanding, cutting, and sharpening, only $59.89. Dremel flex shaft attachment, just $19.99.
Find value. Farm and Fleet.
Congratulations, Indians. No store offers you more than Don's Super Value. Espresso bar, daily fresh baked goods, complete fresh deli, and conveniently open 5 a.m. to midnight every day. Congratulations, Indians, for making it to state. First American Bank provides banking services for any of your financial needs, including stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. First American Bank.
So the Monroe Cheesemakers start in very good field position. Their second possession of the night, 1st and 10 for them from their own 43-yard line with 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter of a scoreless game. And there's Nate Lancaster for the 4th consecutive time. That's his best run of the night, picks up about 6.5.
Kind of slithered off the left tackle there. They had a kick-out block, and he made some yardage. Nice plant, nice acceleration. Wasn't spectacular, but it was a solid 5-yard gain.
Okay, we're going to wrap up the Monroe starting offense. Dry, Winter, Burns, Larson, and Jerry Herbst up front, leading the way for guys like Lancaster. The quarterback Stangl, Lancaster, and Teasdale, DeReamer, and Martin. It sounds like a law firm, but it's not. It's the receiving corps for the Monroe Cheesemakers. Pass incomplete at about the 45-yard line. Let's talk about the DeReamer brothers for just a second. It's Tony DeReamer, number 40, and Tim DeReamer, number 80. Listed at 5'11", 166. I take it they're twins.
I take it so, too.
Not 165 and 166. They're both 5'11", 166.
Right on the head. Better check their grade point averages. I bet they're pretty about the same, too.
3rd down, we'll call it 3. The Cheesemakers need to get to the Menomonie 47-yard line. And guess who? It's Lancaster spinning, but he's going to be way short. And so Monroe gets stopped again, and they'll have to kick it away again.
With two evenly matched teams like this, it's going to probably come down to some turnovers, and the kicking game's going to loom very important in this ball game. And I think the first one to blink or the first one to make a mistake is going to be behind the 8 ball because they are so evenly matched.
Got a whistle and a penalty flag on the field. If this is against Menomonie, this would be a big call because it would be a 1st down for Monroe.
They're going to wave it off, Jim.
Okay, no penalty. It's Ament and Weir back deep to receive, standing on their own 16-yard line. And Brad Stangl will kick it away. 6:54 to go. It's Menomonie 0, Monroe 0 here in the Division II State Championship football game. Our 6th of 6 title games here at Camp Randall Stadium this weekend. Good punt this time, and it's going to bounce. This time it takes a Menomonie bounce, and it's down at about the 25-yard line.
It's the second time they set the ball left. If they ever receive that punt, it looks like they want to return the ball to the left.
25-yard punt for Brad Stangl. Kind of a dangerous punt. There were a couple of Menomonie guys in the vicinity there where if it hits you in the back of the helmet, you're not happy with that. All right, second possession of the game for Menomonie. They are also looking for their first down of the game. Paul Whelan brings them up to the line of scrimmage. 3 backs in tight behind him. Now it's just Lunderville, and Lunderville will get the pitch. And Lunderville has nowhere to go. Big hit by number 88, Rob Martin. He had a little bit of help.
Here's the replay. You'll see Martin defeat a block, come across, and make a big play for him. He slips one block and then just stands him up.
Boy, Coach, it looked like good scouting there. It looked like Monroe knew exactly what was going to happen on that play.
Quick shift. They adjusted well to it. You'll see Menomonie try some trick plays and some movement to try to get that Monroe defense off center a little bit.
2nd down, and after the loss of 3, it's 13 to go for the 1st down. Play fake to Lunderville. Whelan throws over the middle. It's caught for a big gain out to about the 42-yard line. Luke Schleisner with the catch and the first down of the game.
Here's a play action with a crossing pattern. You'll see the fake to the tailback. Tucks the ball nice, centers up, and there's Schleisner coming across the middle. kind of like a tight end drag.
Whelan with a nice throw, and at 141 pounds, he's standing in there against a guy bearing down on him, Rob Martin, who weighs 213.
He's a whippet, to say the least.
1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 42-yard line with 5:21 to go here in quarter number 1. Straight ahead, good yardage, 4 or 5 yards on 1st down, and Menomonie will take that every time.
Now they shifted to an unbalanced line that time, and once again, Monroe made a pretty good adjustment. Just a straight fullback dive.
It was number 44, Joe Keyes. Keyes' father is a car dealer up in Menomonie, and if you've been in Madison or if you're from Menomonie, you may have seen all those cars that are painted, Go Menomonie, Go Indians. Well, Mr. Keyes was having all of his customers bring their cars in, and he did the paint jobs on them.
I think that stuff washes off.
He's the next Earl Scheib. Good running room there, and it looks like another 1st down as Weir breaks it down to the 45-yard line, and the Menomonie offense is now starting to click a little bit.
They came out in power eye and just a toss sweep. You're going to see it on the replay here. A lot of people and a good seal at the point of attack. You're coming right at you. There's the hole. Fullback leading up through, and 1st down.
This Menomonie team wasn't supposed to get this far. This was supposed to be their quote-unquote down year up there in the Big Rivers Conference. They did finish 2nd, but you can't call it a down year. They've got a good-looking team. Monroe with the good defensive surge there, but we've got a penalty flag, and I think we may have a face mask call.
Face mask or a clip?
They're talking to the cheesemakers. You're right, Coach. They're talking to big number 74, Tom Dry, one of their captains, and it looks like it's going to go against Menomonie. 15-yarder. What a play it is. You see the ref reaching for his flag. We don't really get a good look at the penalty. No complaints by Menomonie, though. So 15-yard penalty. That'll make it 1st down and 31. The ball spotted on the Menomonie 34. To get the 1st down, they've got to get to the Monroe 35-yard line. It's an obvious passing situation, but Whelan goes down. He is sacked at his own 27. Sacked in there by number 30, Jason Stuckey. Another one of those Monroe captains. Another big play by the Monroe defense.
They brought the weak side linebacker on the backside, and he defeated the block just on quickness. Stuckey's only about 5'7", 160 pounds. The coach, Pat Martin, said he's one of the best linebackers he's ever coached. Very active, very quick, very aggressive, smart little ball player.
Okay, it's 2nd down after a loss of 8, 2nd and 39. Lunderville gets a big chunk of it right here. Inside Monroe territory down to the 48-yard line.
That was just a draw play, and they broke it up the middle.
23-yard run by Mike Lunderville. Wide open, lots of room.
Turned the Monroe defenders out, and he just went right up the gut. After that, he's on his own.
It appeared to be an obvious passing situation. Monroe was coming hard, and they left the lane open, and now it's reasonable at least, Coach. 3rd and 13. You know you can do something with that if you're Menomonie. Whelan this time wants to throw. He will, and he's got another 1st down at about the 31-yard line. Luke Schleissner with his 2nd catch of the night.
That's the same play. They just run it coming back on the other side. It's a fake to the tailback, and he sets up on a half roll and hits Schleissner coming across. You'll see it on the replay one more time. The fake, you watch Schleissner coming across your screen now, and he just waits for him to clear and puts the ball right on the money. Nice drive here put together by Menomonie so far.
So after being faced with a 2nd down and 39 yards to go, the Indians pick up the 1st down. They've got it on the Monroe 31. That doesn't happen to the cheesemaker defense very often. Lunderville dives down to about the 26.
There's the toss off to the power eye again. Just pick up on what you said before. Coach Labuda said this might not be the most talented bunch he's ever had, but it's probably one of the most dedicated group of young men he's ever had at Menomonie. He said they great work habits, very intelligent, outstanding students in the classroom. He said it's just been a natural growth since they're freshmen, and they've just peaked right when they're supposed to peak at this time.
Yeah, the senior class had losing records on the freshman football team and as sophomores on JV. You wouldn't know it now. They've come a long way. Pickup of about 4 yards by Lunderville. 2nd down and 6, and they're going to give it to Weir. Good job by the Monroe defense there.
Yeah, that was a counter play off the old wing T series with Weir coming back underneath. He had a lead man in front of him. Monroe sat at home, filled the gaps, and put up a stone wall.
Yeah, that's a play. Coach, you're familiar with this. I think in the 1993 title game, they ran this with a little bit of success.
Thanks for bringing it up, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
They ran it with a fellow named Mike Morrow, and he had a whale of a game against us.
We'll talk more about that game over the course of the night. Not to bring up bad memories, Coach, because it was a great football game. Straight ahead. And they're going to be close to the first down. I think that was Joe Keyes with the ball.
Depends on the spot, Jim.
You know, many of you at home watching this may remember that 1993 game between Menomonie and Coach Golomsky's Ashwaubenon team. I think there were touchdowns in the first 5 possessions. Our director is in my ear saying, you shouldn't talk about that. The coach doesn't need to hear about it. But it was a great game, right, Coach?
I got a sore neck from looking up and down the field. It was like a track meet. The only bad part is we lost, but it was a great experience for our kids, our community, and our school. And I just hope every coach has that experience to get down here to Madison and drink it all in.
There were lots of great players on the field and some good coaches on the sideline. Many of you fans know the name Aaron Stecker. Now he's a running back for the Wisconsin Badgers. He played for Ashwaubenon and had something like 450 total yards in that game.
Yeah, he just had a terrific game, the game of his career, and what a time to have it.
4th down and a short one for Menomonie. They're going to go for it with 1:20 to go here in the first quarter, and that is Joe Keyes, and he has the first down just inside the 20.
Great second effort by Joe. They went up, come out of the huddle quick, went on a quick count, and he just bashed it over.
The way Menomonie at times breaks out of that huddle, it looks like you're watching a Canadian Football League game where everybody's running at the line of scrimmage before the snap.
Well, they try to catch you sleeping a little bit or maybe force you to jump off sides, and they come after you pretty good, try to beat you off the ball, beat you with a little quickness.
Okay, let's see if the Monroe defense can hold. They've only given up an average this year of 163 yards a game. No score, a minute to go here in the first quarter, but Menomonie is threatening. Lunderville with it, and he is trying to get outside. Good effort there, and then a fine open field tackle by Brad King, number 11. Had King not made that play, I think Lunderville would have been in the end zone.
You are correct. He's only 158 pounds, but he runs hard, keeps his feet moving. And on replay, you'll see him bounce off tackle and try to get to the outside, which he does. There he's got a fullback and a guard leading the way. It's supposed to be up in the hole. That's where he makes a decision to get outside. He's slowed up a little bit, but keeps his balance and keeps working forward. Likes to get north and south. All good running backs do that.
Paul Whelan with 2 backs behind him. 2nd down and 8 from the 18. Play action. Heavy pressure. Whelan has Keyes at the 10. Down to the 4. And it's another first down for Menomonie.
They had to overload to the right side. He had a play action fake. They slow release Kai out in the flat, and he was wide open. He allowed the secondary people and the linebackers to drop. Here's the replay again. There's the ball fake. Hides it on his hip. Good penetration. He was very lucky to get the ball off here and put it right where he wanted to.
Got to be impressed with Paul Whelan, the quarterback for Menomonie. He's had a great first quarter. 7 seconds to go. Menomonie might or might not get this play off. Down to 2, down to 1. They get it off, and they wish they hadn't. Lunderville is hit and stopped at the 5-yard line, brought down by Andy Heffley. Good play by Heffley.
Middle linebacker Heffley shed a block, moved laterally, and made the big hit.
And that is the end of the first quarter. No score. It's Monroe against Menomonie in the Division II state championship game. We'll be back after this message from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies, M&I Banks. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
Pride. Dedication. They're not just words to the young men and women who make it to the WIAA playoffs. Whether it's football or boys or girls basketball, these young people show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. It's the one honor that embodies the ideal that it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Quiet, please.
It's second down and goal from the 4-yard line for Menomonie. No score here, but that could change as we begin the second quarter.
Smart looking drive here by Menomonie. Have moved the ball around, thrown a little, run a little to both sides of the field. Now they're back in their power I formation.
Whelan going to keep it, and he's going to be stopped short.
Got a good push by his center, and there's 2 guards, and advanced it about 3 yards or so.
So we'll call it third and about 1.5. Third and goal from the 1.5-yard line.
Let's look for something off tackle or wide here, Jim.
The Monroe defense has been sensational this year. The maximum points that they've given up in one game is 14 against Fort Atkinson. Straight ahead, that's Kais, and no signal yet.
I think he's a little short.
He did not get in on third down. The official says that much, and that's not very much.
Right on the chalk line.
What do you call here, Coach? 4th down and goal from this spot.
You know, quarterback sneak or straight dive.
Play action
wrong on
pass.
The last one.
Play action pass.
I don't know about
that.
Well, it could be. I think Joe's going to keep it safe and go with just a push.
4th and 1 for Menomonie. Monroe digs in. Here's Whelan. Weir up and over. Touchdown, Menomonie.
Got a nice push, and then he flew over the top, right over right guard.
Yeah, check that. They're saying that was Mike Lunderville for the touchdown. At any rate, it's Menomonie 6. Monroe nothing. 10:50 to go here in quarter number 1. They will try now the extra point to make it 7-0. Good snap, good spot. And Weir nails it. It's 7-0. 1 minute into the second quarter. We'll be back after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Klein Dickert and Rural Insurance. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
Every 8.2 hours, a UFO sighting is reported. The average cost of a garbage truck is as much as a Rolls Royce. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office.
Klein Dickert?
For quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
If you haven't started saving for retirement, you probably think you're too young or that you can't afford to. Truth is, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. And if you think you're living from paycheck to paycheck now, consider how you'll live when your paychecks stop. Your Farm Bureau agent offers retirement planning with a variety of insurance and investment options to meet your financial needs. Call your Farm Bureau agent and start planning your retirement today.
An unlikely touchdown drive for the Menomonie Indians. They were faced with a 2nd down and 39, converted that, and then they capped it off with the 1-yard touchdown dive by Mike Lunderville. The extra point makes it 7-0 with 10:50 to go here in quarter number 2. Monroe set to receive, and they're going to see if they can get that cheesemaker offense going.
That was a nice drive by Menomonie. Well executed and a nice play selection and sequencing of plays.
Here's the kick by Weir. Coming down at the 20, that's Brian Larson. Still on his feet. Good looking return all the way out near midfield. Here's the play that capped off that touchdown drive. Lunderville going up and over the top.
Just followed his big tight end and a fullback over the top. And that tight end is big, 6'6", about 235.
Big play by Brian Larson, returning that kickoff all the way out to the Monroe 49-yard line. They get excellent field position for quarterback Brad Stengel and the rest of that offense. Nate Lancaster breaks one tackle, but picks up just a couple of yards.
Looks like it's going to be tough sledding in the middle there. Menomonie's getting a lot of people in the gaps, filling those seams, getting linebackers at the ball carrier. Just a lot of hats on the football.
Monroe doesn't throw that much. Stengel just 74 pass attempts on the year, 30 out of 74, 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. They would rather keep it on the ground if they can, but Menomonie's making that very difficult. Second down, 8 yards to go. This time they fake it to Lancaster. Stengel going to keep it, and he's got a first down.
Stengel, the ball carrier. First down by Spencer. First down on the road.
You see a fake handoff, and it's kind of a half roll. I think he wanted to pass, but when the things collapsed and he had people chasing him, he just tucked the ball and ran for it.
Good speed to get to the corner. 2 touchdowns this year for Stengel. He's carried it 40 times, so he's definitely not afraid to run it. First down, Cheesemakers from the Menomonie 39. Here's Lancaster. Spin move. Fights out to about the 33. That's an interesting run.
He showed you a couple cute moves there. A spin move and then a little stutter step just before he went out of bounds.
I'm not so sure that the spin move was necessary, but I guess it was effective. Was he even hit on that play?
No, he wasn't. Pretty nifty, though.
He's got a real good pair of tennis shoes on down there. The field's a little bit frozen, but
doesn't seem to bother him.
Not at all. Good game. Picked up about 6 yards. It's second down and 4 for the Cheesemakers from the 33. Heffley in motion to the top of your screen, and here comes Lancaster again down to about the 31.
Tackle from behind. They're having trouble sealing off the backside. They're getting some penetration, a little push in the hole, but it's that backside that's hurting him. He's getting tripped up from behind. They've got to seal the blocks to the backside and stop that Menomonie penetration.
Monroe hasn't been tested in a while. They've won their playoff games 57-13, 33-16, and 23-0 over Burlington. But they're being tested tonight by a very tough Menomonie ball club. Third down and about 1 yard to go for the Cheesemakers. This time they'll give it to the up back, Teasdale, and I don't think he got there.
He's their fullback and was met right at the line of scrimmage. You'll see it on the replay here. I don't know if he even made it back to the line of scrimmage.
Mike Schlosser's the guy who got there just about the same time as the ball.
Schlosser played off the block very well.
Steve Phillips also in there with some help. So another, excuse me, Coach, another fourth down. We've had several fourth downs in this game. Monroe's going to go for it. 4th and 1 from the 31. Play action. Stengel going to throw it. He's got Teasdale inside the 15 to the 14, and it's a first down Monroe.
They caught Menomonie in a precarious situation. You'll see it on the replay. Stengel could have ran for the first down. As he comes out here off the bootleg, right there he could have hit the seam, and then he just dumped it right over the top of Welch.
Good decision and a gutsy decision on 4th down to put the ball up in the air. It worked. 1st and 10 for Monroe from the 14. Their best drive of the night by far. Menomonie leading 7-zip with 8:29 to go here in the first half. They'll run out of the eye. Again, they give it to Teasdale straight ahead for about 4.
They might be giving Teasdale a little action now. If the Menomonie defense is keying on Lancaster, they'll try to give it to Teasdale a few times and take their attention off of Mr. Lancaster.
Good job by the Cheesemaker offense, keeping that Menomonie offense off the field. Menomonie looked so good on its last drive, also giving their own defense a good rest. Second down and about 6 from the 10-yard line. Going to run the option to the near side. Stengel going to keep it at the 5. Touchdown! Brad Stengel is in the end zone, and Monroe pulls within 1. It's 7-6.
Stengel made 3 big plays in that drive, and on the replay we'll see his 3rd big play. Fakes the dive to the fullback, comes straight down the line of scrimmage. He sees the corner of the end zone. He's got to tuck that ball away a little bit better, and dives in for the 6.
Stengel will stay in there. He's their kicker. He'll try to tie this game up with 7:46 to go in the first half. As expected, Coach, we've seen an even matchup here. High snap. The holder gets it down, and the kick is good, and we're tied 7-7 midway through the first half. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Doug Superfair Foods wishes the Indians good luck. Quality service and low prices, providing everything from film processing to fresh baked goods. Doug Superfair Foods, a proud part of this community. best of luck to the Menomonie Indians from Higgins Travel and Cruise Center, serving the Menomonie area since 1971. Best of luck, Indians. Best Western Holiday Manor is a great winter getaway featuring an indoor pool, poolside rooms, and rooms with in-room jacuzzis. Congratulations, Indians, for a great season.
Jim Sosha and Ken Golomsky back at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. We're midway through the second quarter in the WIAA Division II State Championship football game. It's been an even match, Coach, just like we expected.
Very fine ball game so far. Pretty good defense, and the last two possessions by each team culminated in scores. I think the first quarter they just kind of try to feel each other out and see what they were about to get from the defenses, and in the second quarter here they both picked it up on offense.
Brad Stengel will stay in there, and he will kick it off. 3 men deep to receive, and it's going to come down to Lunderville. Good kick. Lunderville has to back up all the way to his 4. He gets to the 15, but he doesn't make it to the 20. Good special teams play by Monroe. Okay, let's take a look at the touchdown that tied it. This is quarterback Brad Stengel on the keeper.
Option to the right, fake to the fullback. He took away Lancaster out of the play, but there was no one to pick up Stengel, and he just punched in for the touchdown. His third big play in that series, he had the scramble and then a little pooch pass that got him the first down. So a big series for Monroe and a big series for Mr. Stengel.
It's been a while since that Menomonie Indian offense has been on the field. Paul Whelan, the quarterback, 2 backs behind him. Nothing doing, straight up the middle. Joe Keyes is hit, and he is stopped in a hurry.
In case you're looking at that big number 71, he indeed is big at 6'9" and about 300 pounds. Brian Lamont.
Brian Lamont. I'm sure some college coaches from at least around the state, maybe around the Midwest, are going to get familiar with that guy.
Brian Lamont 10.
299. Whelan on the delay to Lunderville, and Lunderville good yardage out to about the 28. He'll be maybe 1 yard short of the first down.
That was the draw again. What they're trying to do is they just turned the 2 big tackles out, and you'll see on the replay here, they turn the tackles out and get a block on a middle linebacker, and then it's up to Lunderville to find his hole, and there it is.
Number 12, Luke Schleisner, back in the ball game for Menomonie on this 3rd down and about 1 yard to go. 7-7 tie, 6:26 to go here in the second quarter. Again, they'll run out of the eye, and they give it to Keyes. Good running out to about the 33, and that's another Menomonie first down.
Little veer play, bounced it more or less towards off tackle and picked up the first down.
Coach, how big of a factor is it we've got a player hobbling off the field from Monroe? That's Andy Heffley, and they can't really afford to lose him. Hopefully it's not serious. My question, Coach, is how much of an effect is it to play on the turf? Probably the only time these teams play on turf all season.
Well, both of them have been here so many times, I don't think it affects them at all.
Good point. First down and 10 for Menomonie from the 33. Fumble. Monroe says they have it.
If we can get a replay, Jim, I don't think it was ever a very clean handoff. It looked like...
The Cheesemakers do have it. Number 74, Tom Dry, comes out of there with it. And when we come back, Monroe is going to be in position to maybe get more points. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Kivlin Eye Clinic of Menomonie extends their congratulations to all the Menomonie athletes, especially our lady swimmers, Katie, Mandy, Mary Jo, and Kim.
A new game has come out of the blue. It's called Double Doubler from the Wisconsin Lottery. To play, just match 3 like amounts. Win that amount, and there's a chance to double your prize, and even double your prize, for a top prize of $1,000. But this game won't last forever. Pretty soon, it'll be double or nothing.
When you see news happen, call the News Channel 8 hotline. United States Cellular customers call pound 88.
Barry Tim of American Family Insurance congratulates the Indians on a great season and making it to state. Barry Tim has been providing the community with premium insurance without premium rates since 1977.
Thanks to that turnover, Monroe takes over on the Menomonie 42-yard line. 1st and 10, and we've got a penalty. I think Well, I'm not going to speculate. They're going to call illegal motion on Monroe, so instead of starting on the 42, they're going to back it up to the 47. Big play by Tom Dry, the defensive lineman here. I'm not sure, Coach, that it was ever a real clean exchange, though.
No, it wasn't. He had to reach a little bit, and he was losing it. I don't think he got it, seated the ball right in the belly. It was on his hip, and he slipped off coming through the line of scrimmage.
I think Brendan Burns, number 51, may have gotten an arm in there and just kind of disrupted that handoff. So, make it 1st and 15 for Monroe from the 47-yard line. There's that spin move by Lancaster. He loses the ball, but you know what? I think Tom Dry may have recovered another fumble. Is that number 74 in the bottom of the pile? He's one of the two guys down there. It was either Dry or it actually may have been number 67, Stuart Larson. They were both there.
Speak.
There's that spin move again, Coach.
Somebody stripped the ball on him, and then it's actually kicked forward.
So the net effect is a gain of about 2, making it 2nd down and 13. Stangl looks to throw, and he had a man open, but it's overthrown at about the 42 or the 34-yard line, and that looked like Tim DeReamer.
He ran a little out route. He just threw it a little bit high and a little bit behind him. He had ample time to throw, and the man was open, about a 6-yard out. Speaking of people around the ball, the Menomonie linebacker, Welch, number 5, the outside linebacker, has 12 fumble recoveries this year. 12 of them. Talk about a nose for the football. He's always around it.
One a game. 3rd and 12 for Brad Stangl. He'll pump, and he'll throw long, and I think there might have been a little miscommunication on that one.
I think he should have stayed in the out run. It looked like a down, out, and up, but he didn't get deep enough to clear the defensive back, and they were setting him up. They ran the out, and then they came right back with the out and up. But he just did not get enough out on the out.
I follow you. I follow you.
Grammatically incorrect, but you get my message.
Yeah, this is football. Grammar doesn't apply in football. So the Cheesemakers can't take advantage of the turnover, so they're going to kick it back to Menomonie, but they ought to be able to pin the Indians back deep in their own territory. 4:45 to go here in a tie game. 7-7, Menomonie and Monroe, and here's the punt. And it goes into the end zone. And Menomonie gets a break there. They'll get it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line with 4:36 to go in the first half. We'll be back after a word from our statewide sponsors, M&I Bank and Klein Dicker Glass. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
The largest insect is a dragonfly with a wingspan of over 2 feet. Before Columbus discovered America, most people believed the world was flat. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office for quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
Menomonie dodges a bullet. They stop Monroe. They get the ball after the punt on their own 20. 1st and 10 with 4:30 to go here in the first half. Another big hit by Rob Martin, number 88. He's played a good game from his defensive end position.
Rob also happens to be the son of the head coach, Pat Martin, so that makes for some interesting conversations around the supper table.
And he better play well each and every week, or else.
Practice doesn't end on the field. Just pick it up at home.
Yeah, there's no WIA rule against making your kid hit the blocking sled in the backyard, is there?
No, there isn't.
Short gain of about 2, 2nd down and 8 for Menomonie. The play never really looked good at all, but Weir still dancing around. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. He's hit and dropped by Tom Dry, among others.
They wanted to run the wing counter again, and they had him out there in a slot position, and They had a couple people in front coming back, but Monroe got great penetration and knocked the blockers off their track and just gummed up the whole works.
Third and 9 for Menomonie, down to 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Play action. Wheeland in the flats, complete. Caught by Kais, fighting to the 30. Close to the first down. We've got a flag on the field at about the 20-yard line, and Joe Kais gets up limping.
Great effort by Kais. I think there was a holding on the backside. You see the play action here, a half roll. Finds Kais out in the flat, gets the ball to him, and then it bounces off of one and drags another ball carried to the flag, but it's all a naught because I think Menomonie got called for holding.
What a load. Joe Kais, 5'8", 216. You got to hit that guy low, but you hit him, to hit him low enough, you pretty much have to hit the ground.
He's a wide ride, is right.
You don't want to take him up or take him on up around the shoulder.
Lower the better, right around the shoestrings.
But the penalty brings it back.
10-yard penalty against Menomonie.
10-yard penalty, that'll back it up to the 11-yard line, and Menomonie now faced with a third down and 19. Do you put it up here this deep in your own territory?
I don't know how much confidence he has. They come out in a one back with two wideouts here and two tights. I think there was some movement by the tailback.
Lunderville gets to the outside, out to about the 16-yard line, but I think he's the guy who's guilty of moving before the snap.
You're going to see him flinch just a little bit.
That was 3rd and 19. Lunderville picked up about 4 or 5. You think that probably Monroe's going to decline it, forcing Menomonie to punt. And if they do that, they'll get the ball back with plenty of time here. 2:53 to go in the second quarter.
And they should get some pretty good field position, too. They'll be punting from the end zone.
Just about what you'd expect from these two teams. A game that might be decided by who turns the ball over the least or the most, and who has better field position all night. Lately, it's Monroe with the better field position.
That's what it usually gets down to when you come with two evenly matched teams like this. I take that back. He's punting from the 2, Jim, not the end zone.
You're forgiven. Jesse Madsen, number 89. Gets off a low spiral. It's going to come down at about the 42. Still on his feet, Brian Larson. That's another good return. You remember he had a big kickoff return earlier, and that really puts Menomonie in business inside, or Monroe in business inside the Menomonie 30-yard line.
He broke the first wave, and it's darn near a touchdown-saving tackle because he had passed about 7 or 8 of the Menomonie Indians already, and if it's not for 77, he's got uncontested sideline to run into the end zone.
Rick Kistner with a big tackle there. 1st and 10 for Monroe from the 29-yard line. 7-7 game, 2:15 to go here in the first half. Stengel options, gets it to Lancaster, and he's got room. He's on his feet inside the 20, out of bounds at the 15.
He got 2 excellent blocks, one downfield from the wide out and one by his end on a hook. Just outstanding blocking by the Monroe people.
And Lancaster hobbling just a little bit as he comes back to the huddle. This is the first time, Coach, that Nate Lancaster's really had much running room.
Yes, it is, and they executed that option perfectly. And like I said, he got 2 excellent blocks downfield, one by Martin and one by number 80. That enabled him to get that first down and a sizable chunky yardage.
Lancaster and Teasdale running out of the eye. This time it's Teasdale fighting forward down to about the 8.
Looked like a fullback trap. They're mixing up the plays a little bit now, too, and stretching the Menomonie defense out, trying to keep them guessing a little bit.
The clock continues to run with about 1:45 to go here in the first half. Plenty of time for Monroe, though. No hurry at all for them. Both teams still have all 3 of their timeouts left. There's Joe Labuda. Joe's the one with the baseball hat and the mustache, saying, come on, D, let's shut him down.
Joe and his wife recently had a little girl, about 3 months old, I think it is. And as a matter of fact, when I called him on the phone, he was changing diapers at the time.
Who I met. I met the baby today. Throw in the end zone, touchdown, no, incomplete. It was caught and dropped by Rob Martin, and Coach, that was very, very close. He almost had possession long enough, but not quite.
Here's the replay on it. It's a play-action pass, and he dragged the tight end across the field. Give him time to clear. Drops it right in the alley, and Robbie just didn't hold on to it. Took his eye off it a little bit.
Yeah. And he took a pretty hard hit there by Eric Wayne, number 7.
Well, I always tell the kids you might as well catch it. You're going to get hit one way or other.
3rd down and 6 from the 13-yard line. 1:18 to go here in the first half. Monroe trying to break the 7-7 tie. Stengel wants to throw again. He will. He's got a man, and it's incomplete again.
Dropped the ball.
Tim DeReamer couldn't hang on, and it'll bring up 4th down.
That was 6 points, Jim. He's in motion. They'll start upfield and then jump to the flat, and I don't know where you can put it any better than this.
Wow, that's a tough break for DeReamer because he was all alone. No one within, probably 5-6 yards. So Stengel, the quarterback, will try to break the tie with a field goal. They're going to spot the ball at about the 21. That would make it a 31-yard field goal, and he's got plenty of leg to get it there from here. The kick is up, and it is no good. It is wide, so the score remains 7-7 with 1:08 to go here in the first half. We'll be back after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance, M&I Banks, and Klein Dickert Glass. This is the WIAA Football Network.
The largest insect is a dragonfly with a wingspan of over 2 feet. Before Columbus discovered America, most people believed the world was flat. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office for quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
Based upon the last few minutes of the first half, Coach, I think Menomoni's pretty happy to still be tied.
You bet they are. They're wiping the sweat from their brow. That was a real bitter series for Monroe. 2 touchdown passes dropped. You just can't afford to do that against a team like Menomonie.
1:08 to go. Menomonie going to keep it on the ground. They give it to Joe Keyes, and he falls forward out to about the 21-yard line. Doesn't look like Menominee's in any major hurry right now. The clock continues to roll down to 1 minute even here in the second quarter.
I think they'd be happy just to go in at halftime, tie here, but they might take one shot at it here.
They've got some interesting plays in their arsenal. There's no doubt about that.
You don't have to tell me. They ran every one of them against us.
I wasn't going to bring up 1993 anymore, but since you brought it up.
I'm going to take the saddle off so you can't get a burr under there.
2nd and 9, and they will run it again. This time, Lunderville, good yardage out to about the 29. 30 seconds to go in the half. Now they're out in the area of the field where you might want to take one shot at it. I think they're going to bring in the sticks and well, no, they're not going to measure. They're going to say he is just barely short. Now they are going to measure. Now they're not. Okay, they're not going to measure. It's 3rd down and 1. Clock down to 15 seconds to go. Whelan gives it to Lunderville, and he has the first down with 10 seconds to go in the half, and that might be the last play here in the first half. Clock is stopped until they move the chains, and then they'll crank it up again, and we'll see if Menomonie wants to run one more play. Well, they don't. The clock starts, and we're out of time in the first half. It's Menomonie 7, Monroe 7 in the WIAA Division II State Championship football game. Our halftime coverage continues after this word from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance, M&I Banks, Klein Dickert Glass. This is the WIAA Football Network.
I'll be working till the sun goes down. Done spent the time, another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
8.2 hours, a UFO sighting is reported. The average cost of a garbage truck is as much as a Rolls Royce. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office.
Klein Dickert?
For quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
Sushi, you're going to do lead to the M&I.
Okay, we are back at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison on an Arctic-like evening, but it's been a red-hot football game so far in the Division II final. The Monroe Cheesemakers and the Menomonie Indians are all knotted up at 7-7. The second half promises to be very entertaining. We are pleased to have M&I Banks of Wisconsin with us again in 1995 as a statewide sponsor of the WIAA state football telecast. The M&I organization is proud of its people and its service as one of Wisconsin's most respected and trusted banking organizations.
What we've been doing could be construed as somewhat swimming upstream in an industry that is rushing to do away with separate charters and separate community banks and set up branch environments. The M&I Corporation has chosen to protect individual corporate structures, and the reason that we're doing that, we think when it comes to delivery of service, when it comes to the people that make the decisions on the credit side and on the pricing side and the products that are going to be offered, that needs to have local input and a local decision-making body. Our boards play a very active role in the management of our bank. Our boards are very active, looking for business that the bank should be involved in. And our boards bring to our attention those areas of the community that need attention. So in our case, in Stevens Point, we have a board made up of 15 members that are representative from all the communities that we're involved in. We have 16 communities that we're represented in presently, and the board members that are on our board are people that are involved in the community. They're active, they run businesses, and they keep local management on their toes. And our perspective is that from an out-of-state location or from a central location, you can only provide so much support to a community, and we think that it involves community involvement. You need to be there. I think that commitment means a total commitment from a perspective of M&I. I think many times we think about financial support being the only kind of commitment that is available, and I think that when it comes to the M&I and commitment to the community, we're talking about volunteer boards, we're talking about school boards and service corporations, we're talking about being a coach at Little League. We really look to get beyond the financial side of total support for community. I think that when it comes to community-based activities such as what WIAA is all about, we look at our employees. Our employees are the parents of the kids and their uncles and aunts of the kids that are out there perhaps playing today. And that's no different than the rest of the community. Our banks are made up of employees that live in our communities, and it's their families that make up our communities. So when it comes to a sense of community, I think M&I plays a very big role in being part of that community.
It's a 7-7 halftime tie. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Hi, from Bill Kai's in Menomonie. Where in Menomonie, you ask? Well, we founded this dealership in a cow pasture just off the main drag. Probably not the busiest spot in the world, but it was cheap, and besides, the cows like it just fine. Business was slow the first few years till they put the road in and took the fence down. Ever since, though, thousands of folks have found their way to our little enterprise, and they tell you it's a nice place to do business. Just watch where you step. No bull. We'll deal till the you-know-what's come home at Bill Kai's Chevrolet, North Menomonie.
Buy a beefy steak and cheese sandwich piled high with hot steak and creamy melted cheese, and you'll get one regular 6-inch sub of your choice for only 99 cents. Only at Subway.
Congratulations to the Menomonie football team from Wisconsin Credit Union. We belong to you. Our new North Menomonie branch will be opening Monday.
14P, come on! For years, you've seen commercials that have told you to just do it. Well, here's where to get it. Nike at Shopko for Christmas. Stuff to wear, like running pants, sweats, tees, hats. We got your feet covered, too. You want value? What are you waiting for? Nike. Another reason Shopko is the Christmas store for you.
Quality Printing of Menomonie wishes the Indians good luck. Quality Printing of Menomonie has been serving the community since 1973, specializing in 4-color process printing, fax, color copies, and complete binding.
This is the last weekend of the WIAA fall sports season. Football is just one of 8 state tournaments over the last month. Right now, let's look back at some of the other state competitions. Jay Wilson of Madison has highlights of girls golf, girls individual tennis, and the girls team tennis championships.
The fall championship season begins with the girls golf tournament. 2 picture-perfect days at University Ridge, just outside of Madison. All eyes are on defending champion Kim Reed of Madison La Follette, who's looking to become only the 5th player to win 2 titles. But Reed struggles, and it opens the door for a new individual champion. Appleton West's Andrea Klee finishes her senior year with a spectacular performance. Klee fires a final round 76 to win the state title by 1 shot over La Crosse Central's Kate Theeney. Klee is the 4th Appleton West golfer to win a state individual championship.
You know, I've been at state since a freshman, and I haven't done that well. And I just wanted to do better than last year, and, you know, medals is a goal, but I just wanted to improve it since last year. So, you know, it was a good tournament this year.
Klee's final round 76 is the best round of the day and gets her the state individual title. Theeney's just 1 shot behind, while Onalaska's Megan Dunham is just 2 shots off Klee's pace. A 3-way tie for 4th includes Michelle Thierer of Eau Claire North, whose team is in the middle of a run at a state title. The team race is exactly that, a race. After the first round, Racine Case and Eau Claire North are tied, with defending champion Racine Horlick within striking distance. But on the second day, Eau Claire North puts some distance between themselves and the pack. The result is a 13-shot victory for the Huskies. It's a special win for the team, the coach, and the entire school.
I am a former graduate of North High School, and so I've been at North High at all but 6 years of its entire existence, and I can totally say that this is significantly important, and I just think it's just going to lay some nice groundwork for some other kids to just say, hey, we do have Husky pride, and we're going out to do it.
The members of the Huskies state title team include Michelle Thierer, Jessie Polis, Bridget Hepner, Carmen Anderson, and Beth Childs. Eau Claire North is the model of consistency. Both days, the Huskies combined for a team score of 345. Next up, the girls' individual tennis tournament. Schools are in 2 divisions competing for singles and doubles championships. And talk about dominance, talk about Greendale. The Panthers get 2 teams in the Division II doubles championship. And in the final, Susan Algren and Stacy Krieger defeat teammates Stephanie Witzak and Kristen Leary. In Division II singles, Andrea Nilsson of Union Grove is the top seed, and she backs it up with an impressive run through the draw. Waterford's Andrea Albee gives Nilsson a battle in the final, but Nilsson prevails 6-3, 4-6, 6-4. In Division I, Sheboygan North's doubles team of Molly Opel and Dee Young have a spirited run to the championship. They defeat Andrea Schmelze and Kristen Kelthau of Brookfield East to win the title. And the Division I singles champion is a freshman. Leah Jackson is another great talent from Glendale Nicolay, and Jackson defeats her Nicolay teammate, Andrea Magera, for the championship. The next weekend, it's the state team tennis tournament, and not surprisingly, the Nicolay Knights take home another big trophy. Jackson and Magera lead Nicolay to a convincing sweep through the Division I competition. Nicolay beats Green Bay Southwest 7-0 in the semifinals, then shuts out Marshfield 7-0 in the Division I team championship. In Division II, Whitefish Bay, another longtime tennis powerhouse, knocks off Greendale in the semifinals before beating Monroe 7-0 for the Blue Dukes' first team title since 1979.
What a fall sports season it has been. 7-7, Monroe and Menomonie. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Good luck, Menomonie's players and coaches. Menomonie Sports World is the community's #1 world-class Arctic Cat snowmobile dealer. The best equipment in the world to give you the best snowmobile experience in the world.
When this pre-treater lets you down, what's your system for getting out tough stains?
Salad oil, talcum powder.
Red wine, I use seltzer water or baking soda.
For blood, my witch's brew.
Now Tide helps make these systems obsolete with new Tide Treatment Spotter. On this makeup stain, this leading liquid pre-treater doesn't always do it. Tide Treatments is clearly better on tough stains.
It's fantastic. It's great.
The next generation of tough stain removers is here. New Tide Treatments, the solutions for stains.
Best of luck, Indians. Best Western Holiday Manor is a great winter getaway featuring an indoor pool, poolside rooms, and rooms with in-room jacuzzis. Congratulations, Indians, for a great season.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
And now's your chance to head out in the best-selling Ford Escort with super low 3.9% financing or $750 cash back. Go ahead, do the math. That'll save you over $20 off your monthly payment. And that includes features like dual airbags, aluminum wheels, and AM/FM stereo. But hey, 3.9 financing or $750 cash back on Escort is only for a limited time. Get to your Northland Ford dealer now.
Doug Superfair Foods wishes the Indians good luck. Quality service and low prices, providing everything from film processing to fresh baked goods. Doug Superfair Foods, a proud part of this community.
We just got that complete update on tennis and golf from Jay Wilson. Now we're going to continue to look at some of the other WIAA state fall championships. Jay has more on the state cross country, the boys soccer, and the girls volleyball state tournaments.
The state cross-country meet returns to the Ridges Golf Course in Wisconsin Rapids. The best finish of the day comes in the Division I girls race. Watertown's Amy Doggs has a big lead at the end, but Madison East's Victoria Reynoa makes a race out of it. And at the finish line, Doggs just manages to hold on for the win, although both runners are timed in 14 minutes and 54 seconds. Reynoa's teammate at Madison East, Gabe Jennings, makes no doubt about the Division I boys race. Despite a painful side ache, he's 12 seconds faster than his nearest competitor in winning the individual title. And what a story in girls Division II. Mount Horeb's Rachel Anderson is the defending state champion, but suffers a hip injury early in the fall. But with a doctor's close supervision and permission, Anderson runs in the state meet and finishes 9th among team competitors. That emotional run helps the Vikings to the Division II team title.
It's like the highlight of my whole career. I mean, just to come back and run, and throughout the race I could hear people saying, that's that girl who broke her hip, and come on, Rachel, and it was a lot of different coaches, so it meant a lot.
Here are all the team winners. Middleton takes Division I girls, Gibraltar Division III. Mount Horeb's Lena Van Haren is the Division II race winner, and Rachel Ernie of Cochrane Fountain City is the girls' Division III individual champion. On the boys' side, Arrowhead wins Division I, Whitewater takes 2, and Cochrane Fountain City is the Division III winner. Individually, Ben Moss of Whitewater wins Division II, and Kevin Cullen of Rib Lake is the Division III boys champion. State boys soccer. Last year, Whitefish Bay won the Division I state championship, but lost 12 players to graduation. This year, the Blue Dukes are in Division II, but no matter. Whitefish Bay wins another title. In the shootout, Sean Bashford puts Bay in the lead. Then goalkeeper Eric Eulander saves the final Greendale attempt, and it's 2 in a row for Whitefish Bay. Last year, Division I, this year, Division II. The teams play to a 1-1 tie in regulation. They're scoreless in 2 overtimes, and tie 3-3 in the first round of penalty kicks before Whitefish Bay finally gets the win. In Division I, the story is Brookfield East. For most of the season, the Spartans were recognized as the #1 ranked high school soccer team in the country. Their challenge was to prove it day in and day out. And they do. In the state final against Cedarburg, Matt Burkert breaks a 2-2 tie to give Brookfield East a perfect season and the Division I state championship. Brookfield East defeats Cedarburg for the 3rd time this season to win the state championship. 3-2 is the final at Breeze Stevens Field in Madison. And at the girls' volleyball championships in Neenah, another one of the country's best performers leads her team to the Division I championship. West Bend East's Katie Yankee is considered to be one of the top players around, and she proves it in leading the Suns to the state championship. Yankee is headed to Nebraska next season to play for the #1 ranked college team in the country. Here are the other girls volleyball state champions. Waupun sweeps through Division II. Dodgeville wins the school's first ever girls state championship in Division III. And Turtle Lake goes 3-0 in the finals to win its third straight championship in Division IV.
We're just a few minutes away from the start of the second half. Monroe and Menomonie all tied at the Division II state championship game. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Lammers Foods, where your dollars make more sense. 1408 9th Street, Menomonie.
She was everything a man could ever want, but I just had to let her go.
She said, darling, we can work it out. I said, honey, I don't think so.
See, the two of us are not the same. We're as different as night and day.
Now there's pepperoni in the crust.
I gotta eat mine the wrong way.
Crust first.
There's a new stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut with not just cheese, but pepperoni baked right into the crust.
I'm a little lonely, a small price to pay for pepperoni.
There's never been a better time to buy a new F-Series pickup from Northtown Ford. Right now, get $750 cash back or 4.9% APR on all remaining 1995 or new 1996 F-150 or F-250 regular cab pickups. Be ready for winter with a new Ford truck from Northtown. But you better hurry. This special offer absolutely ends Monday, December 4th, so don't be left out in the cold. Only at Northtown Ford, Highway 12 West Menomonie. Nobody beats us in service, selection, or price. Nobody.
Welcome back to Camp Randall. 7-7 halftime tie. The WIAA and rural insurance companies are again partners in sponsoring the State Final Sportsmanship Award, where one team and one community will be recognized for their positive encouragement and support. We're pleased to welcome Rural Insurance Vice President of Marketing, Jim Scribner, to our halftime activities for these comments.
Hello, I'm Jim Scribner, Vice President of Rural Insurance. At Rural Insurance, we believe part of our responsibility is to give back to the communities and the customers we serve. We do that in part by being involved in supporting such organizations as FFA, the 4-H, the tech schools, the United Way, the trade associations that in turn support our farm and small business customers, and of course, the WIAA. In addition, our agents at the local level are very active in their civic and service organizations. We view our relationship with the WIAA as a real cornerstone of our commitment to Wisconsin and the youth of Wisconsin in particular. All the members of the rural team are proud to be able to sponsor the Sportsmanship Awards. We're really pleased to be able to announce that we will play an expanded role in 1996 to include all team sports. This, of course, is the centennial year of the WIAA and the 20th year for rural.
We are back at Camp Randall. Coach Golomsky here, Jim Sosha, 7-7 game. We're going to take a look at some highlights. There weren't a lot of them offensively, but there were a couple of good ones. Here's the first one. First touchdown of the game. Mike Lunderville going up and over the top for 6.
Justin Howard and his fullback just create a wall for him, and he elevates himself over. And that's the first touchdown for Menomonie.
And then the Monroe offense starts to click, and this is how they get in the end zone. Quarterback Brad Stengel on the keeper.
Yeah, it's an option play. Fake the dive, and he took out his pitch, so he just kept it himself and tucked it in the corner of the end zone.
7-7 game. What's the key in the second half, Coach?
Well, avoid the turnovers and mount a drive. I think they're still so evenly matched that any little thing could turn the game one way or other. So they're just going to have to continue to play their best ball they can and just avoid making mistakes and hope for a break here or there.
Second half kickoff coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back after these. Well, we're not going to take it away. We're going to take a look at some first half statistics. And as expected, this was a pretty even matchup. And I think the statistics will also show that we were pretty even. Here it is. Menomonie with only 7 first downs, but look at that. Monroe with just a total of 3. That's a little bit surprising, isn't it?
It tells you the Menomonie defense is playing good. I think the telling statistic is the 2 drop passes right at the end of the first half by Monroe, which would have been one of them would have been a touchdown, either one of them.
Okay, now we're going to send it away for this word from our local sponsors, and we'll be back in just a minute with the second half. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Have you noticed that electricity can do things for you that other forms of energy can't? That's because it's more convenient, safer, and better for the environment. And new technology has made it even more economical. For example, you can save with a high-efficiency water heater and an electric thermal storage heating system. Call the energy professionals at your electric co-op today.
Old Man Winter is heading this way. When you're ready to get serious about your winter driving, head into OK Tire and Service for a new set of BF Goodrich TA tires. Their outstanding traction and sure handling are certain to keep you on the road and in the driver's seat. If you want your car to look as great as it handles, add a set of custom wheels to your new BF Goodrich TA tires. So drive on in to OK Tire and Service, 513 Oak Avenue, North Menomonie, or in Eau Claire, 3330 Mall Drive, just south of London Square Mall.
Get ready for winter and the holidays with Farm and Fleet. A DeVilbiss 1-horsepower air compressor, just $178.99. DeVilbiss 3/4-horsepower air compressors, $124.99. Farm and Fleet has Rotomite Spiracut, ideal for fast, clean, freehand cuts, only $59.79. A Rotomite zip bit is also on sale. Winterize your house with 3M window kit tape, only $2.99. 3M window kit twin packs, just $3.99.
Find value, Farm and Fleet.
Well, everybody's still bundled up here at Camp Randall as they need to be on this very, very cold November night. But as we've said, the action on the field, Coach Ken Golomsky, has been very hot. Even matchup here.
Been a very good game so far, with the exception of a turnover here and there that really haven't accounted to too much. It's been a well-contested game, and I think that last Monroe series, they'd like to have that back, and they'll play that one over for a long time. 2 drop touchdown passes that would have put them ahead 14-7. But that's all for naught because the game is tied up. So you start out fresh again. You got a half of football. It's just like the beginning of the game, and nobody's ahead, nobody's behind. So it's almost like 2 ball games here for us.
As you can see, everybody all bundled up. It looks like deer hunting season here at Camp Randall. We can see the folks on the far side of the field. That would be the Menomonie rooting section, and they're pumped up as always. They bring an army of people down from northwestern Wisconsin, and Monroe has a huge contingent below us as well. Both teams just very, very rich in athletic and especially football tradition.
Yeah, good programs, good coaches, excellent staffs. Both coaches wanted to mention that they think that's the key to the secret of their success is the staff stability. They've got excellent assistant coaches that they can delegate authority and responsibility to and really alleviate some of the pressure and the job responsibility from the head coach. And they also have outstanding weight programs and they just do a great job of getting their kids ready to play. And the grades 9 through 12, excellent football being played at both of those schools.
Okay, we're just about set to go. Brad Stengel will kick it off for Monroe here to start the third quarter. 7-7 game. Only 24 minutes left in the 1995 Wisconsin WIAA football season. And we'll see if it's going to be Menomonie or Monroe taking the Division II championship. Another very good kick. They fake the reverse. Keeping the ball is Eric Almond. Loses it, and Monroe has it. Monroe has it deep in Menomonie territory.
Huge break here, Jimmer.
It all starts with the deep kickoff by Brad Stengel, and that's kind of deep to be faking the reverse, don't you think, Coach?
Yeah, it gives your coverage team too much time to spy the whole thing down. There's no deception and no quickness in it.
Tony DeReamer, one of the 2 guys who delivered a big hit on Ament, the return man. So it's 1st and 10 for Monroe, just outside the Indian 21-yard line. That's exactly the way Monroe wanted to start the second half, and that's exactly what head coach Joe Labuda didn't need to see.
One of the things Joe said earlier in the week was no mistakes, no interceptions, no fumbles.
Shouldn't have said anything. 1st and 10. Stengel, and we've got a whistle, and we've got a penalty flag.
Too much time, is that what I saw?
Delay of game call on a 1st down. That's kind of unusual.
No, you don't want that. They must have had trouble getting the play in or getting their selection in.
Well, and as you saw late in that first half on a couple of drives in the second quarter, Monroe was unable to get any points at all. They missed a field goal, and they didn't move at all on the other drive and were forced to punt. They could be up. by 7 or possibly 10 points, and they continue to have trouble on the Menomonie side of the field. Stengel rolling out, in trouble, still on his feet. Now he's not in trouble. The 10, the 5, touchdown, Brad Stengel. What a run.
I tell you what opened the whole thing up. They went in a one-back, made Lancaster wing and put him in motion. You're going to see Menomonie chase him, and that spreads their whole defense out. Stengel scrambles. He'd made big plays all night. Here's another one, forced out of the pocket. He's never able to square up for the pass, so he just tucks it and runs.
It looked like number 55, Steve Phillips, was going to haul him in, but he couldn't do it. A nifty little move here to get in the goal line.
Just cuts it back inside once he gets around the goal line.
And Stengel will try the extra point. It's good. So very quickly, the Monroe Cheesemakers take a 14-7 lead just 45 seconds into the third quarter. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Buy a beefy steak and cheese sandwich piled high with hot steak and creamy melted cheese, and you'll get one regular 6-inch sub of your choice for only 99 cents. Only at Subway.
Bill Kai's Chevrolet Oldsmobile congratulates the Menomonie High School football team on another outstanding year. Bill Kai's is your #1 Chevrolet Olds dealer.
Now you choose the savings on entire living rooms. The Lodge look, fresh and vibrant, traditional with timeless elegance, or contemporary, sleek and bold.
Now, how can Happy Sleeper offer furniture prices that low? Well, it's simple. We own the factory, and when you own the factory, well, you can do just about anything. All Happy Sleeper furniture is handmade and sold direct from our factory. Dress up your home for the holidays with a new living room. When quality counts, count on Happy Sleeper.
Congratulations to the Menomonie football team from Wisconsin Credit Union. We belong to you. Our new North Menomonie branch will be opening Monday.
Quarterback Brad Stengel's 26-yard touchdown scramble gives the Monroe Cheesemakers a 14-7 lead here very early in the third quarter. And Stengel will kick off. And I can tell you what, Menomonie's thinking about one thing now, and that's squeezing the football and not turning it over again.
What they have to do is keep their daubers up. They can't get down and get discouraged. Only one touchdown down. They were like that before. So
Lunderville from his 4 out to the 20, out to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. And again, Stengel, not only is he a great quarterback, but he's got to be one of the better kickers in the state at the high school level.
Strong leg, gets it up deep and high, gives his coverage team plenty of time to get down there and get under the football.
In case you're just joining us, Monroe, one play, 21 yards. It was a 26-yard run by Stengel, but they tack on 5 more because they were penalized on that first down play. So that's about as quick as a touchdown drive can get. They give it to Lunderville. Lunderville for about 4 yards out to the 30 on first down.
Just an off-tackle play from the I formation, and followed the fullback in his kickout block and squirmed up there for about 4.
There was no score in the first quarter of this one, but Mike Lunderville put Menomonie on top with a 1-yard run on a 4th and goal to make it 7-0. Then Stengel tied the game with a touchdown run, 7-7. That was the score at halftime, and then the play you just saw, Stengel with a beautiful 26-yard run to make it 14-7. Monroe going for its 5th state championship in the last 6 years. An incredible record. There's a throw and a catch and a first down for the Menomonie Indians. Luke Schleissner having a good game.
They came out in the trips to the left with a 1-back, and you'll see it in the replay here. He just takes about a 5-step drop, and Schleissner does a little curling pattern about 10 yards deep, picks up the first down.
Schleissner came in as one of their 3 leading receivers. They had 3 guys with 18 catches coming into the game, but he's gotten most of the throws in his direction so far here tonight. Lunderville with it. Penalty flag on the field. Lunderville picks up about 3.
I would guess some movement just prior to the snap. It appears to be against Menomonie.
You got to think that this could be just a critical series for both teams, Coach. I mean, Menomonie doesn't want to fall behind more than 7, and if Monroe can turn it around and get the ball back, they should be in good shape.
Depends on what Menomonie defense does here if they're forced to punt. Coach LeBoot has been very happy with the play of Wheeland a kid that he says plays within himself. He's very intelligent, understands what his capabilities are, and never tries to do anything that exceeds his limitations, which means he's not making any mistakes, and he's usually showing pretty good decision-making skills.
Here's Whelan on 1st and 15, goes for Schleissner again, and this time Schleissner can't hang on. Would have been very close to a first down had he caught the ball.
I think he would have had it. His momentum would have carried him over. I've been very impressed with Whelan. He's been right on the money all day as far as his passes are concerned. And that's pretty tough in these conditions. Kind of cold. It's tough to keep your arm warm and loose. Both teams doing a nice job executing tonight, their offenses.
2nd and 15 for Menomonie from its own 36-yard line. 9:43 to go here in the second quarter. Monroe leading by 7. 3 receivers wide left. Whelan back in the pocket. Has some time. And he's got a man. Big play to John Call. Jason Call inside the 35-yard line, down at about the 34. Beautiful throw by Whelan.
Here's a look at it again. They come on trips to the left. They've been throwing inside the curl man. This time they had a man streaking right down the sideline, and Whelan puts the ball right on the money.
Jason Call, the senior wideout, was just about a step and a half away from taking that all the way. Call number 15, 5 feet 10 inches, just 166 pounds. Whelan this time gives it to Lunderville. Good tackle over there.
Like another draw play for about 3 or 4.
Jason Stuckey with a big play. Short gain, about 3 yards. Earlier we were talking about the turf. We've got to give the grounds crew here a hand. They've done a good job getting this field in good condition. We know that Menomonie practiced this week at the University of Minnesota. We're not sure what Monroe did, but as you said, they've been here so many times. It's not a factor. Oh, nothing doing there. And again, number 88, Rob Martin, with a big hit from his defensive end spot.
He played a whale of game on defense today. Does a nice job holding down the corner there. On the replay, we'll see he just holds his ground, plays off the block, and steps up and makes the tackle.
We talk about trying to tackle guys low, but when you're as big and as strong as Martin at 6'2", 213, he can tackle guys any way he wants to.
Chest up and put a squeeze on him.
Hey, little guy, you're going down on your back right now. 3rd down and 8 for Menomonie. Monroe jumps, penalty flag, throw over the middle. It's caught down there. Caught by Schleissner, and that would be another first down. We'll have to check out the flag.
I think the flanker, number 15, called on here was movement. There was movement on his part.
Well, it looks like you're right, Coach. Menomonie going backwards. That's a big play. They would have had the first down.
That's uncharacteristic of them. They do not make many mistakes, but they've made a couple here, and they paid for one of them with the Monroe touchdown off the fumble.
And you just saw a few of the big reasons why they don't generally make many mistakes. Head coach Joe Labuda and the rest of that staff that he's assembled, they do a fine job. Interesting, we're talking to Joe Labuda earlier in the week. He says that his counterpart, Coach Pat Martin from Monroe, is not only one of the best coaches in Wisconsin, but in the whole country.
Joe can make that perspective. He spent a few years coaching in Florida and came across some very good coaches down in that area.
Whelan over the middle, incomplete as he threw it for Mike Weir. It was just a little too high for Weir to hang on to.
There's a flag, and I think it's either procedure call or holding, one of the two. It's against Menomonie.
Maybe we should stop talking about how wonderful the coaching staff is.
Well, the kids still have to go out and do it.
Absolutely.
You can scheme till you're blind, but unless they can execute it, it doesn't do very much.
Overall, and by now most of you know how good these two programs are. Monroe going for its 5th championship in the last 6 years. Menomonie going for its 2nd Division II championship in the last 3 years. They won in '93. They finished 2nd last year, and here they are back in the title game again this year. But on 4th and 12, 4th and 13, they looked like they were going to punt. Look at this play. It's a fake, and it's a first down for Menomonie. Have you ever seen anything quite like that, Coach?
Yes, I have. I saw it on tape when we scouted him one year. They're going to snap it to the up back. He's going to fake a run and then just kind of pooch pass it, jump pass right over the center. And I'll guarantee you, Jim, there'll be about 20 high school coaches that are going to put that into their playbook next year.
Eric Amott made the catch. I'm not sure who made the throw, but it looked like he was going in for a layup. It was perfect, though. 1st and 10 for Menomonie from the 19-yard line. Lunderville fights forward inside the 15 to the 14, and boy, what a momentum shifter that was. You can just sense it over on that far side. The team and the fans for Menomonie are really fired up.
Well, it's a play that completely wiped out the 2 penalties and also picked everybody's spirits back up. Got everybody excited, so here we are again. We'll negate the mistakes with 1 trick play.
Who says high school football coaches are too conservative? Nothing conservative about that play. 2nd down and 4 from the 14. Whelan, play action, throws. He's got a man, and he's got a touchdown. Joe Keyes takes it in, and it's a 14-13 game. Another fine throw from senior quarterback Paul Whelan, and Joe Keyes knows what to do with it after he makes the catch.
Play action again. Just gets the ball off under pressure. Keyes picks it up and mows it over.
14-13 with 6:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Mike Weir will try to tie it up. And the ball hits the upright, and it's no good. He misses the kick, so with 6:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter, it's Monroe 14 and Menomonie 13. We'll be back after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance and M&I Banks. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
Pride. Dedication. They're not just words to the young men and women who make it to the WIAA playoffs. Whether it's football or boys or girls basketball, these young people show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. It's the one honor that embodies the ideal that it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Quiet, please.
It's the Monroe Cheesemakers 14, the Menomonie Indians 13, and Coach Ken Golomsky, special teams in the kicking game especially, so very, very important and critical. They can make a difference.
That could be the ball game that missed extra point as close as these 2 teams are playing. I know we have a whole quarter to go yet, but there was some emotional swing there, ebb and tide. The 2 penalties, the trick play, then you score, then you miss the extra point. I mean, it's been like a roller coaster here in about the last 2 minutes of play.
Mike Weir will kick it off, and it's a good one. Going all the way down to about the 13-yard line, and there's that guy again, Brian Larson, who's had a good day of returning kicks, but not this time. The Indians are all over him.
That was Welch. And we'll see the missed extra point again.
Boy, it looked good off the start, and then it just
Bang.
Faded. It just faded.
Travis Welch broke through the first 2 wave of blockers and made the tackle for Menomonie.
1st and 10 for the Cheesemakers from their own 24-yard line with 6:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Man in motion, that's Sean Teasdale, number 35. They give it to Nate Lancaster, who's really been pretty quiet all night.
Yes,
Takes it out to about the 30. Let's take another look at that touchdown. Another fine throw from quarterback Paul Whelan.
He's had quite a night. And he's just gotten the ball off a number of times under duress, had people in his face. He's done a good job of just hanging in there and putting the ball on the money.
Lancaster with a pickup of 6. 2nd and 4 for the Cheesemakers. Stengel to Lancaster. Nothing doing. Big play by number 6, Mike King. Loss of about 3.
Menomonie defense is on fire now. They're flying to the football. You see 3 or 4 men right there. Here's another man. There's 5 guys right in that vicinity. They're just active as heck. Very aggressive. Good pursuit.
3rd and 8 for Menomonie. Stengel taking a long time in that offensive huddle, trying to figure out what the play call is from the sidelines. Out of the I formation, Stengel looking for the screen to Teasdale, out to the 32 or 33, and that's going to be short of the first down.
Fullback screen to the left. He sent Lancaster to the right, hoping to draw the Menomonie defense and then come back to the backside to Teasdale. There you see the play action. He opens up towards Lancaster and throws it this way. He ran out of field, ran it into the boundary side or the short side of the field. Didn't have any room to advance it.
Pretty well executed play actually by both teams, and it comes up just about 1.5 yards short of the first down. And so Stengel's going to kick it away, and Menomonie thinking that they're going to come out of this with pretty good field position with still 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Monroe leading this one by 1. Oh, bad snap. Stengel now thought about running it, instead gets a pretty good kickoff, actually.
Yes, it was, considering the problem. He had to field it, and then he had to run, and then he had to find a place to kick it. Settle down. Did a nice job.
21-yard punt for Stengel, and considering what could have happened, I think he made the right call by kicking it. I don't think there was much room there for the run. So Menomonie takes over in pretty good field position, trailing by 1. Another look at Stengel. Does a real good job here. He can hear those hoofs of those big Menomonie linemen coming in, wanting a piece of the football, but he gets the punt off pretty nicely. The Indians take over 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line, and now they're going to be on their own 45-yard line as Mike Lunderville is met hard.
Rob Martin again playing a whale of a game from his left defensive end position. And Heffley with the cleanup. They're having trouble blocking Martin. He's just playing off all kinds of blocks. There you see him shuck one blocker and just step up and make the hit again.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Jason Call, number 15, splits way wide to the right side. Only 1 back in behind the quarterback, Paul Whelan.
He faked the draw.
Whelan throwing long. It's incomplete. He was looking over the middle for Jesse Matson, and he kind of got tangled up with the defensive back and really never had a chance to make a break to the football.
Never got free. They picked him up crossing, and there was a little congestion there. I want to say inadvertent contact, but they may have held him up somewhat. He never got clear and into that seam area where Whelan wanted to put the football. So 3 and out here for Menomonie. No, I'm sorry. They still have the ball.
Well, maybe. Is that a prediction?
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
3rd down and 11, and here's Whelan.
Play action again. He's got Kais in the flat.
Kais has got the first down and then some. At the 35 down to the 32-yard line, and another big throw by Paul Whelan, and another big play coming out of the backfield by Joe Kais as a receiver.
That was the same play they scored a touchdown. Same play they scored a touchdown on. Play action pass, semi-roll to the left. Kais releases out of the backfield into the flat. They run off the corner. No one's home underneath. Dump the ball to him, and that big Buffalo just keeps running.
Yeah, a 5'8", 216-pound Buffalo with pretty soft, feather-like hands. He's done a great job, especially as a receiver tonight.
They've got Monroe on their heels here right now.
Call splits wide to the right. Lunderville the only back in behind Whelan. 1st and 10. Throwing long, going for the home run. It is incomplete at the goal line. Luke Schleisner almost makes the play.
I think he had it in his chest. He didn't look it in and caress the football. They had a double wide out, 2 tight formation, 1 back. He's going to fake the draw play. And we'll see it here on the replay whether or not he actually had possession.
Nice job by defensive back Tim Ills. Well-thrown ball, too.
Yes, had his hand in there and flicked it away right at the end.
Good throw, good coverage, results in an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 for Menomonie. This is Lunderville. Oh, as he hit at the line of scrimmage, but he still manages to pick up about 3 yards. Violent collision.
I think that was Heffley shot the gap or defeated a blocker and collided with him at the line of scrimmage.
That's a hit reminiscent of what happened the last time these 2 teams met. That was in the playoffs in 1993. It's Monroe's only loss in the last 5 years. Menomonie won that one 6-3.
I was at that game. Just some tremendous hitting going on there. People look at the score and say 6-3 must have been a blah game, but it was just an outstanding football game. Very cold temperature, similar to today's temperature, and they just went after each other.
3rd and 7. Whelan throws, looking for Kais. He's got him at the 20, the 15, inside the 10 to the 8, and there is Joe Kais out of the backfield for another huge play.
They just flip-flopped the play over and ran it to this side.
Knocked out of bounds by Josh Lewis. It'll be 1st and goal, Menomonie.
You really got to be impressed with the way Menomonie is throwing the ball and catching it on a night where the wind chill is down around 0 or below.
Doesn't seem to make any difference to them.
So it's 1st and goal for Menomonie from the 8. They've controlled the last several minutes here in the 2nd quarter. The pitch to Lunderville, trying to get outside, cuts it back in and gets down to the 6. Heffley and Lancaster are in on the tackle. Good pursuit by Menomonie. Boy, if you're Monroe, you pretty much in this situation have to really keep an eye on Highs maybe coming out of the backfield again. It's been so successful.
It's about time they run that play now and bring the tight end back across underneath. Except they're going to come out with 2 tight, go to power on, perhaps try to pound it. And as I say that, they're going to play action the ball.
Whelan looks, he throws, deflected and incomplete. Looks like it was intended for number 85, Sam Casper.
And on a replay, play action on a dive. Trying to get that end dragging from the backside. Another good defensive play. Somebody tipped it over there, one of the linebackers.
Looks like Andy Heffley, number 33. He may have,
there it is,
may have saved a touchdown because it looked like Sam Casper had a beat on it. 3rd down and 6 for Menomonie. 1:50 to go. They trail the game by 1. Here's Lunderville. Gets to the outside. Gets to the end zone. Touchdown, Menomonie.
It was a draw play, and he broke it back towards the weak side in the corner.
So Menomonie has scored 12 straight points here in the 3rd quarter to take a 19-14 lead. Here's that touchdown.
Running with the eyes again. He starts up the middle and sees the opening to the left and just bounces it outside. Got a nice seal block by his tight end there to get around the corner.
Okay, they're going to lie. They are not going to. They're going to go for 2. Good move here. 19-14, leading by 5. They're going to try to get that point back that they missed on the missed extra point kick. Whelan, this time they give it to Mike Weir. Gets to the outside, and he's in. The conversion is good, and the Menomonie Indians now lead by 7. 21-14 with 1:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Another look at Lunderville's touchdown. Draw play that he takes outside. And the extra point, kind of a counter. There's the fake handoff. We're coming around from the slot position. Bounces outside and he cuts it back in.
21-14. What an exciting 3rd quarter we've had. It was kind of a defensive struggle in the 1st quarter, but things starting to open up now.
Yeah, Menomonie throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Monroe. Seems to have Monroe on their heels a little bit. Throwing the ball, running the ball, play action. Just got after him.
Yeah, they're charged up down there. The Monroe fans are pretty charged up too, now starting to try to get their team going. You know, Monroe really hasn't been tested too many times this year. Looking at what they've done this season in the playoffs, they pretty much cruised through. Their last close game, and maybe only real close game, was the last regular season game of the year. They beat Sauk Prairie 10-7. Other than that, they've really controlled just about everybody.
Yeah, their method of operation has been to jump out to a big lead and then kind of cruise, let the defense play tough. This one's a cat and dog type thing, and they're behind right now.
Kind of interesting that they gave that 2-point conversion to Mike Weir, the guy who missed the kick. He's got to feel a lot better about what's going on now. And here's Weir again. He will kick it off, and this time he'll keep it away from Brian Larson. Instead, that looks like Rick Weiss. Pretty decent return. He gets it out to about the 32 or 33, and that's where Monroe will take over with 1:40 to go here in the third quarter.
Well, what Pat Martin has to do right now is just settle his troops down. He said, don't worry about it. You're only 7 points down. We still have a full quarter to go. Just let's come right back out, start a nice drive, eat up the clock a little bit, and punch one in here. Don't anybody panic. We still got a quarter and a minute to go here.
Number 15, Brad Stangl, still in there at quarterback. He's played a whale of a game. He has scored both Monroe Cheesemakers touchdowns. Nate Lancaster, he's got room up the middle for about 7 or 8 yards out to the 39. Hit the hole very quickly that time.
Yes. I think he's going to go back to Nate and let him carry the ball a little bit, kind of get back in the groove and get his rhythm. You know, he's rushed for 1,800 yards for him, and he's been a little silent this third quarter, but I think you'll see him come back to him here a little bit more.
Lancaster averaging 7.4 yards per carry this year. 28 touchdowns running, 29 total. Only has 2 catches out of the backfield all year. They don't use him much as a receiver, but you can see why. He's such a good running back. Here he is again, and this time he is hit and stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Number 55, Steve Phillips, in there. And it also looked like Schmelzer, number 4, came up from his defensive back position.
About a yard short of a first down. Menomonie's done a great job of containing him. He may get 5 or 6 yards, but he hasn't busted any long ones yet.
And when that happens to a guy who has gained more than half of your total offensive yards, you can understand why it's been a little bit of a struggle for the Monroe offense.
Stangl with a quarterback sneak, and he picks up the first down. The big thing is don't get frustrated. Just keep plugging away. Good things will happen. I mean, they're undefeated. They're one of the top teams in the state. You got this far. You're a pretty good football team. You just got to keep your composure and keep your cool and just stay after it.
And I guess that clearly is a scouting report on Monroe. Fundamental football team that just doesn't make many mistakes, right?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
You don't get to the state championship game this many times unless you're a solid, fundamental, and smart football team. Stangl, little trouble with it, gets it to Lancaster, but he does a nice job to pick up about 3 when there really wasn't much there after the goofy exchange.
Yeah, I think it was some kind of counter play. They started out to the right, but you could see some linemen pulling. The play was going to come back to the left side here. They just got their steps wrong.
It's Menomonie 21, Monroe 14 as we go to the fourth quarter. We'll be back with the exciting final 12 minutes after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
UBC of Menomonie is a proud supporter of the Menomonie High School football team. At UBC, it all begins with you. Congratulations, Indians. No store offers you more than Don's Super Value, Espresso Bar, daily fresh baked goods, complete fresh deli, and conveniently open 5 a.m. to midnight every day.
I trained my boy McNeely to go toe-to-toe with the champ, and he did for 89 seconds. He didn't back down from any combinations thrown at him, and he ain't backing down from this one.
There's a new stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. Not just cheese, but pepperoni baked right into the crust.
So good you'll eat it backwards. Show 'em, kid.
Oh, boy. The new 1-2 combination cheese and pepperoni stuffed crust pizza.
Hey, McNeely, how many slices am I holding?
Barry Tim of American Family Insurance congratulates the Indians on a great season and making it to state. Barry Tim has been providing the community with premium insurance without premium rates since 1977.
2nd down and 8 for the Monroe Cheesemakers from their own 45.5-yard line. Quarterback Stangl wants to run but never gets started. In fact, I think he ran right out of his shoe. He was brought down there by Pat Miller, number 52. Yeah, that's what happened. Take a look at Stangl's shoe. He loses it, and he's still down on the field. He might be hurt. No, I think he's just putting his shoe on. Nothing to worry about.
Tripped over one of the Menomonie players. You heard of Shoeless Joe Jack, right? You got Shoeless Stangl here tonight.
Nothing scandalous about that play, although it was a loss. 3rd down and 10. You want to get that shoe back on as fast as possible because that rug down there doesn't look too warm, does it?
Yeah.
Those ice chips, they're not melting, I'll tell
you
that.
Cold Tootsies, yeah.
21-14, Menomonie leading Monroe with 11:35 to go here in the football game. And it's getting loud out there. The fans are on their feet. Stangl under pressure. He's going down. He is going down on his own 33-yard line, brought down there by several Menomonie Indians. Pat Miller was in there. Steve Phillips was in there. And the Menomonie defense has just stepped it up a notch here lately, Coach.
They have. They just defeated the blocks along the line of scrimmage, shot a couple backers. Menomonie offensive line didn't do a very good job of holding on to their blocks, and they just made life miserable for Stengel here.
Jason Andrasco, number 44, finished him off, or at least helped to finish him off, and it's 4th down and a ton. 4th down and 19 for Monroe. Another shaky snap. Stengel gets this one off, and it's going to come down to Weir, and Weir just falls on the football at the 38.
Little bobble, didn't keep his hands in. Didn't get under the ball, but he recovered in time.
29-yard punt for Stengel. We'll be back after these messages from our local stations. This is the WIAA Football Network.
Lee's Drugstore of Menomonie would like to congratulate the Menomonie Indians on their outstanding academic and athletic accomplishments. Menomonie Farmers Union Co-op Cenex, where the customer is the company, is proud of the Menomonie football team and the fine coaching staff.
Get ready for winter and the holidays with Farm & Fleet. Pick up a Skill 3/8-inch hammer drill for $44.99. A Bosch pivot foot circular saw, yours for $149.99. Farm & Fleet has Wagner halogen gold headlights. Now these headlights last more than twice the life of standard halogens, priced from $549. Farm & Fleet Premium High Pro dog food is only $8.99, and Farm & Fleet Pro cat food just $7.49.
Find value, Farm & Fleet.
Quality Printing of Menomonie wishes the Indians good luck. Quality Printing of Menomonie has been serving the community since 1973, specializing in 4-color process printing, fax, color copies, and complete binding.
38-yard line, the Indians lead by 7. That's Lunderville. Now to about the 43-yard line. Tom Dye in on another tackle for Monroe. They just made the announcement, Coach Golonsky. More than 30,000 people have braved the elements over the last couple days to watch state tournament football. That's not bad.
It's great attendance considering the weather. The snow and the cold. We're a hardy breed up here in Wisconsin.
We're not that hardy up here, though. We've got a space. We got a couple space heaters. Gain of about actually 5 yards in the play. 2nd down and 5. They'll give it to Lunderville again. Hits the hole hard, and he's close to another 1st down.
I think the important thing now is that Menomonie is starting to use some of the clock here. We're under 10 minutes, going about 9.5.
There it is, 30,413. You get these wide shots at Camp Randall, and it doesn't necessarily look like there are many people in the stadium. But remember, this place holds about 78,000. So these are good crowds, enthusiastic crowds, too. You got to be enthusiastic just to stay warm. Quarterback keeper by Whelan, just trying to sneak out a half a yard, and well, let's see where they spot it. It might be close.
It appears he has it.
At 6'1" and only 141 pounds, Whelan needs a little bit of a hole because he's not going to overpower too many of those big guys in the Monroe defensive line. And we've got an injured player on the field right now for Monroe.
You know, when I talked to Coach Labuda early in the week, he didn't want to talk X's and O's as much as the quality of the kids he had this year, with especially his senior bunch. He said it's the nicest bunch of kids he's ever been around. We were talking off camera here that one of the goals his team set was to try to get as many guys with a high grade point average as they could, and I think he had 29 players with a 3.5 or better, which is outstanding. We're talking B+, A- category, and he said it's a classic team. They play together, and they understand their limitations and the fact that they need each other in order to win. So I think he summed it up as they play well together, and that's also a coaching testimony to Coach Labuda and his staff to get the most out of your kids. And I think that's a true measurement of a coach, regardless if you've got outstanding players or average players, big players or small players. If you can get the maximum out of each kid you have on that team and get them to play together as a team, you've been successful, regardless of what your win or loss record is.
You might say that both of these teams might be, to a certain degree, overachievers. Menomonie at the beginning of the year didn't expect to make it down to the state final. Monroe did expect to be here. They expect to be here every year, no matter what they have coming back. Coach Pat Martin says, you know, this isn't his most talented team. He says that he's got other teams that probably had more talent than these guys, but, you know, they just do whatever it takes in the offseason. Bunch of smart kids and a bunch of hard workers, and they don't consider it successful unless they make it down to Madison.
Yeah, and he said that this bunch, more than any other bunch, is a real business-like attitude, low-key, but go about their business in a professional manner and try to get the job done as best they can.
On first down, Lunderville for short yardage out to about the 50. And, you know, you're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old high school kids, and they're getting some media attention. I mean, when you've won 67 out of your last 68 games, even people who normally wouldn't care are coming to practice and looking for interviews because that's an incredible streak, and these kids have handled that very well.
Sometimes that can be a distraction. What you want to do is constantly keep them focused and not so much ahead, but always the next game. Prepare, get yourself ready, be sound, and just take care of yourself, and the game will take care of itself.
Lunderville closing in on the 100-yard mark, but this is Weir. Again, short yardage. Good job by the Monroe defense, holding him to about a 2, maybe 3-yard gain max. It looked like Gary Herbst, number 68, in on the tackle.
That was that little wingback counter again with Weir. And, they really haven't busted it, but it's a play that you have to run enough, and eventually you're going to get some pretty productive mileage out of it. Plus, it keeps the defense honest.
There's Joe Labuda, the brand new dad. Cute baby. As I said, I met the little baby.
Must take after mom.
Yeah. No comment on that. Here comes Lunderville, gets to the outside. He's inside the 40, and he's got another first down for Menomonie. So you can say that about your coaching colleagues. I can't get away with that.
Well, I know this. That pretty little girl doesn't have a mustache like her dad.
Nice run by Lunderville, and he's very close to the 100-yard mark, and he makes a good decision. Went outside and then just decided to cut it back up the middle and pick up a couple more for the first down.
It was a counter play, but there was nothing there, so he just bounced it to the outside.
We're down to 7:25 to go in the football game. Menomonie still leading by 7, 21-14. Monroe now just desperately trying to get a stop and get the football back. Here's Hayes up the middle for about 3 or 4. Braden in on the tackle. Herbst also in there. Monroe's going to take a timeout and talk about it now. They're trying. It looks like they're trying to strip the ball. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. We'll be back after these words from our statewide sponsors, Klein Dicker Glass and Rural Insurance. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
Every 8.2 hours, a UFO sighting is reported. The average cost of a garbage truck is as much as a Rolls Royce. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office for quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
If you haven't started saving for retirement, you probably think you're too young or that you can't afford to. Truth is, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. And if you think you're living from paycheck to paycheck now, consider how you'll live when your paychecks stop. Your Farm Bureau agent offers retirement planning with a variety of insurance and investment options to meet your financial needs. Call your Farm Bureau agent and start planning your retirement today.
Okay, Coach, get out your telestrator and tell us what's going on here. What kind of play are we watching?
I don't know. Those boys are going to have some cold buns after that.
At least these guys have their shirts on. Yesterday, we got about 15 fans with their shirts off and their chests painted. And I think they were at one of the university hospitals after the game being treated for hypothermia.
I think they're at the mental hospital after the game.
Okay, back to the action. 7 minutes to go. Menomonie leading by 7. Back to what we were going to talk about, Coach. Monroe obviously would like to get a turnover and try to strip the ball. The question is, when you try to do that, are you more at risk for giving up a big play?
Yeah, you give up your tackling techniques when you try to strip the ball. It's a horse apiece. What do you want to emphasize more? The turnover and getting the football or making a sound tackle? But they're starting to run out of time here. We're coming down on 7 minutes, and they're down by a touchdown.
Lunderville inside the 30 to the 27-yard line.
Even if they don't score here on this possession, if they eat another 2 or 3 minutes off the clock and bury Monroe deep in this territory, it forces them to do some things they may not want to do. They got to get a quick score on their next possession to tie the ball game up. So the longer Menomonie holds on to the football and advances it, the less opportunities Monroe has to do something.
Big third down play. Third and about 2 yards to go for Menomonie. They give it to Lunderville, and he's got the first down. Very impressive game for Mike Lunderville, who came in with more than 1,300 yards on the year, and he really didn't have very many yards until there he is. He's over 100, 107, 28 carries. Last 5 games, that's when he's done the majority of his work.
He's came on strong at the end of the year, and he played big in the playoffs, and that's when you want your money players to step it up, and he has. Not a very big kid, about 158 pounds.
Menomonie now actually almost in field goal range. 1st and 10. They give the ball to Mike Weir for a couple.
We should mention they're doing most of their damage behind Rob Hendrickson. He's about 5'11", 230-pound left tackle, and he's really been doing a job of drive blocking on that left side.
21-14, Menomonie leading Monroe in the WIA Division II state championship game here at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, which feels like the North Pole for most people today. The clock now becomes a major factor, just 5.5 minutes to go. Paul Whelan, who's played a great game at quarterback, whistle and a penalty flag.
I think they got Monroe to jump, maybe the inflection in his voice, or they changed the cadence a little bit, but they picked up a cheap 5 yards here.
So instead of 2nd and 8, it's 2nd and 3. And that's the kind of situation the Menomonie offense likes quite a bit. Would you call this an upset if Menomonie hangs on to win this, Coach?
No, I don't think so. I think they're so evenly matched, it could have won either way. It's just this second half, it's been mostly Menomonie.
2nd and 3 from the 16-yard line. Lunderville doesn't find much room off the left side. Maybe a yard, maybe 2 yards. Brendan Burns in on the tackle. Jason Stuckey also in there. 3rd and about 2 yards to go. The clock now under 5 at 4:55 to go in the game, and it's running. Joe Kai's up the middle for a yard, maybe 2. He's going to be close to the first down, but probably a little bit short. And if he is short, Coach, that brings up an interesting call. Do you kick a field goal or do you go for it on 4th and about 1?
I don't know how good their field goal kicker is.
Well, it looks like they're not gonna kick it. They're gonna go for it. 4th down and 1. What could be the biggest play of the game? The ball just inside the 15. They need to get the nose of the ball down to the 13. So it's a long one.
Something to the right.
Lunderville is not going to get it. He doesn't have the ball. What a play fake. Paul Whelan keeps it, and he goes in the end zone for the touchdown. Paul Whelan with one of the best play fakes we've seen in a long, long time. Touchdown, Menomonie.
They lined up in a power eye to the right. You're going to see him kind of collapse his body and put the ball on his hip and just hesitate a moment. Great execution by Lunderville. There it is.
Wow.
Did you see him hold the ball there with 2 hands?
A great job of selling it by Lunderville, too. He just looked like he had the football. He had me fake, no doubt about it. It's 27-14 with 4 minutes to go. Weir's kick is up. And it's no good. But Menomonie still with a 13-point lead with 3 minutes and 59 seconds left in the football game. We'll be back after a word from our statewide sponsors, M&I Banks and Klein Dickert Glass. This is the WIAA State Football Network.
Every 8.2 hours, a UFO sighting is reported. The average cost of a garbage truck is as much as a Rolls Royce. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office.
Klein Dickert?
For quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
Moon over Madison. Sing us a couple bars of that, Jim.
I don't see a blimp floating around up there.
It's Moon over Menomonie tonight.
27-14, Menomonie with a 13-point lead with 3:59 to go in the football game after the incredible play fake keeper by senior quarterback Paul Whelan. Mike Weir will kick it off, and Monroe has not been in this position for a long, long time. Down 13 with just 3:59 to go. They need big plays, and they need them fast. That's number 14, Brian Larson. He's had a big game returning kicks. Another good return for Larson out to about the 42.
And they are not very good at this position. They do not like to throw the football. And I don't know how comfortable Pat Martin is, head coach Pat Martin, and at this position. I don't know anybody that is when you're down 13 with only 3 minutes left.
Stengel has 4 touchdown throws this year. He's run 2 in tonight. He actually had a couple passes that should have been touchdowns, but they were dropped. He's probably going to have to put it up in the air now as the clock is rolling with 3:39 to go. Stengel looks and he throws to the far side. It is overthrown. The intended receiver out there, Brian Larson.
Little 3-step drop. They try to get him on a quick out and hope he could turn it up the sideline. Cleared the corner out on the far side and went to the underneath man.
Boy, we've gone almost this entire game, and Nate Lancaster, I think it's safe to say, has been basically a non-factor.
They've successfully shut him down. He didn't have any, as I recall, no run over 12 yards. My notes I've had here. So they really did a good job, a nice cohesive defensive effort by Menomonie Indians.
But it's not over yet, and Lancaster certainly does have big play capability. They fake it to Lancaster. Instead, they dump it off on the near side, and doing a nice job of staying in bounds to get the first down is Sean Teasdale. And then he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
They ran a motion to the wide side, and then Teasdale escaped out here in the flat, and they dumped the ball to him, and then he just tight-roped the sidelines there.
Staying on those ice cubes and staying in bounds. You know, there's no doubt in my mind that Brad Stengel can throw the ball pretty well. He's made some good throws here tonight.
Yes, he can. You want to throw when you want to throw, not when you have to throw, and that's the position they're in now. They've got to make something happen. They've got to get a quick play.
Monroe does have time. They're setting up the screen, looking for Lancaster. He's got it. He's got some room. Inside the 40.
Get out of bounds.
Cuts back, and he takes it down to about the 25-yard line. That will stop the clock while they set the chains on a first down, but that's probably the biggest play that Lancaster's had tonight.
Swing out of the backfield to the left side here. You can see he turns it on here pretty good.
Well, now the clock is rolling again. We're down to 3:10, 3:09 to go in the ball game. It's Menomonie by 13 here late in the fourth quarter. Monroe trying to pull off a tremendous comeback. Stengel rolling. Pressure, throws, incomplete. He was wrapped up, and they're just going to call it incomplete. The Menomonie team and the Menomonie fans wanted grounding. Pat Miller in on the tackle, but they say there was a receiver in the neighborhood.
There's a guy in the vicinity. How close he is questionable, but there's a white eligible receiver out there anyhow. Lancaster, I think it was.
So it's a good play by Stengel just to get rid of the ball and stop the clock with 2:57 to go. And Monroe might want to run one here. Who knows? Menomonie looking for the pass, and that's what they're going to get. Throw over the middle. It's caught inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line by Tony DeReamer.
Nice catch. Slant pattern. Put the ball right on the money.
That'll be another first down. The clock will stop with 2:51 to go in the game, and we've got a ball game, folks.
3-step drop and a laser right on target.
Monroe doesn't want to waste much time. The clock rolling again now with 2:45 to go. Stengel doing a nice job, gives it straight ahead to Teasdale inside the 5 to the 4-yard line, going to be just short of the first down.
Little fullback trap, and Teasdale really picked it up there, quickly got through the hole. They did a nice seal block, and they're knocking on the door for 6 points.
Official timeout on the field briefly. I think we've got an equipment problem for Menomonie. It looks like Chris Schmelzer, number 4, lost a mouth guard.
I think it's a cheek pad. Took
Okay.
his helmet off.
A cheek pad. And that's a break for Monroe because the clock is still stopped with 2:29, and smartly the Cheesemakers have already huddled. They're back up at the line of scrimmage, and Menomonie's still struggling with the cheek pad. Can you see the headlines tomorrow if Monroe wins? Cheek pad saves day for Cheesemakers. 2nd down and 2. Looking to throw in the end zone. Touchdown, Monroe. Stengel throws. Brian Larson makes the catch. And just like that, Monroe is back within 7 at 27-20.
Stengel executing a nice drive here. 3-step drop. Little out route. Pretty well covered, but the ball is right on the money.
So Brian Larson, who's done such a good job on punt and kickoff returns, makes another impact here, catching the short touchdown pass with 2:22 to go in the football game. Now Stengel here down by 7 with a very important extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Outstanding job there by the holder, Kyle Keene. Wasn't a very good snap, but he did a good job, and Stengel kicked it through. So with 2:22 to go, suddenly we've got a 6-point football game.
You make the call here, Coach. You want to kick onside?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think, Coach?
I think so. Here's a touchdown again. 3-step drop by Stengel. 1, 2, 3, throws on rhythm. There's the man running a little square out in the end zone. 6 points.
I would think so with 2:22 to go. Monroe only has 2 timeouts left, and I mean, even if you don't recover the onside kick, you've got a chance to stop him and get the ball back. Otherwise, it's 1 first down for Menomonie, and that's all she wrote.
You are correct.
I think the folks over on the far side of the field, that would be the Menomonie side, are just in a little bit of shock right now.
It took a little volume out of their cheers there. Monroe came right down the field. Just when we said they didn't want to be in that position, they did a nice job of executing the passing offense and moving right down the field.
Joe Labuda sends the hands team out to receive what looks like it's probably going to be an onside kick. He's got 5, 6, 7. He's got 8, 9 guys within 6 yards of the 50-yard line, and that's how far the kick has to go, from the 40 to the 50 for Monroe to try to recover it. Here's the kick by Stengel. It is an onside kick, and Menomonie has it at the 50-yard line. The Indians are on it, and that's a big play.
Fielded cleanly.
That looks like Weir down there on top of the ball. Mike Weir.
You see the onside kick here. Travels 10 yards exactly.
Boy, I don't know. It looks like he looks like he's a shortstop on the baseball team. Kind of a tricky short hop there, and he fields it. So it's 1st and 10 for Menomonie, trying to hang on after that 7-play, 58-yard touchdown drive by the Cheesemakers that ate up only 1 minute and 37 seconds on the clock. And Monroe is just selling out on the run right now.
We'll see now how they manage the clock here on this last possession. If it is the last possession, that is.
2:06, and the Cheesemakers have taken what should be their 2nd timeout. That leaves them with 1 more timeout with 2:06 to go.
Now they might want to make sure they milk the clock. You have 25 seconds in high school to get the snap off. So
from the time the ball is in play, right?
So they'll take a slow huddle, walk slowly to the line, try to get 23, 24 seconds before the snap, but milk as much of the clock as they can. Sometimes you have a coach on the sideline, and the quarterback will come up to the line of scrimmage and watch the sideline away from the signal for the coach. So The quarterback himself doesn't have to manage the clock. He just watches the sidelines and they tell him.
How does the coach know exactly how much time?
He could have a stopwatch, or they could be timing it on the clock itself, on the scoreboard clock.
And then one official obviously has his own stopwatch where he's counting it down. Okay. If you ask the official, will he tell you how much?
No, they're not. If he's friendly, but they don't have to, and they usually don't. You can't get undue advantage with the officials' assistance.
Okay, here's a quick pitch. Lunderville trying to get to the outside, and not any room there. He picks up maybe 1 yard, and Monroe will take its last time out with 1:58 to go in the football game. So if Menomonie doesn't get this first down, Monroe's going to get the ball back with more than a minute left in the game.
Yeah, if they can get a decent punt and bury him deep. It only took them 1:37 to score last time, but the drive, I don't recall the length of the drive. It wasn't that long. But if you pin him down inside the 20, that's a different story.
57-yard drive. You know, we've seen it over the years. Joe Labuda, the head coach for Menomonie, is not afraid to dig deep into that bag of tricks. And I'm not referring to the 1993 game against Ashwaubenon directly. Indirectly, yes.
One more time and I'm out of here.
And I'm going to get a fat lip too, right? But 3rd down and 1 here. Is it silly to put the ball up in the air, or, you know, run one of those counter reverse plays that he's got, or do you just keep it on the ground?
If he's going to try something, it'd be a running play, I think. Although Mr. Whelan's been pretty darn accurate tonight with his passing game, but it's hard to say. I wouldn't put it past him.
Okay, here it is, 3rd down and 9. Menomonie looking to keep the clock going. Monroe looking for the huge defensive stop. Paul Whelan gives it to Weir around the right side, and Weir is tackled way behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of about 4 yards. Jason Stuckey came flying in there to make the great open field tackle.
Big open field tackle. Tremendous play by Stuckey. They fake the handoff. There's the counter to Weir. You'll see Stuckey come into the picture and just get him around the shoe tops.
The clock continues to roll. We're down to 1:30 to go. It's 27-21. Menomonie by 6 in the Division II championship game, but it's 4th down and about 15 yards. They're winding the clock down. They're going to have to kick it away, and now they'll take a timeout.
Yep. They let the clock run down a little bit here and then took a timeout.
Has there been any talk, Coach Ken Golomsky, in moving the little clock on the goalpost into the high school game like they do at the university level?
I haven't heard any yet. It would be nice, but that's another cost that you'd have to tack on, and every field would have to provide a clock like that. You'd have to have it on both ends, or you'd have to have some way of moving it from one end to another. So I think it's an expensive item that at this time just isn't very cost effective.
1:16 to go. The clock is stopped. The Monroe Cheesemakers going for their 5th state championship in the last 6 years, and the Menomonie Indians going for their 2nd in the last 3. 2 Wisconsin high school football powers going at it, and they have just slugged it out all night long. It's been a great football game, just as we expected. Jesse Madsen will kick.
Maybe.
I don't think they're faking this one. Heavy pressure. Madsen gets it off. Brian Larson is going to let it hit. And it takes a Menomonie roll inside the 20, down to the 15. Still rolling down to the 14-yard line. And 59 seconds to go in the game, and that is a big roll. I'm a little bit surprised that Larson didn't at least just try to fall on the ball.
Well, I don't think he wanted to try anything. There was a couple Menomonie players down there. If the ball squirts out, if he doesn't get a good position around the football, it's Menomonie possession again. It's 85 yards, approximately about 86-yard march. They're going to have to construct here in 54 seconds, and they don't have any timeouts left either.
The only way to stop the clock is to get out of bounds or get a first down.
Or drop a pass, but you don't want to do that.
Now the clock is rolling down to 45 seconds to go. Brad Stengel needs to come up with a miracle. Throws over the middle. It's caught by Larson, but I think Larson is short of the first down. And if he is short, the clock continues to roll. It does. 9-yard pickup down to 33 seconds. Monroe looking for a big play.
Kill the clock. Kill the ball.
They can spike it, but they need Larson to get off the field, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to spike it with 24 seconds to go.
Apparently they wanted some different personnel in there for the next play. The other thing you can do is piggyback a couple plays. Call 2 in a row and then just get up to the line of scrimmage. You don't have to change people. You don't have to go in the huddle. It looks like Coach Martin is signaling from the sideline what kind of plays he wants, or at least who he wants in there.
Okay, the ball's in play. The clock is stopped after they grounded it. 24 seconds to go. A field goal doesn't help here. Monroe needs a big play for a touchdown. And remember, Nate Lancaster really hasn't broken one loose. Let's see if he's the guy that they go to. Stangl back in the pocket, throws, miscommunication. Larson turned it upfield, and the pass was behind him.
Yeah, he was open. If he runs a little out route, catches the ball, he's out of bounds, and they're around the 40-yard line.
So that brings up 4th down. 4th down and 1 from the 24-yard line. And if you don't get the first down, you're done for the year right here. They've got to think first down first, I suppose.
Yeah, if they could get about a 10-yard pass or any kind of pass to the sideline where you get the first down plus stop the clock, that'd be the ideal situation.
Menomonie giving the receivers a lot of room. Here's the throw to the near side, incomplete. It's knocked down over there by number 24, Eric Ahmet. And that ought to do it with 16 seconds to go. Menomonie gets the ball back, and they've got a 6-point lead. And the celebration is underway here at Camp Randall. Joe Labuda saying, guys, let's move the celebration off the field of play. We don't want any more penalties.
And now I think they'll just take a knee.
What a great high school football game, and you can just see the disappointment on the Monroe side of the field. They played a good game, but not quite as solid as Menomonie tonight. And there it is, the clock ticking down with 10. That's going to do it. 5 seconds. 2, 1. It's all over. The Menomonie Indians are the 1995 Division II state football champions. You don't want to be on the bottom of that pile, but then again, maybe you do. The final score here from Camp Randall, Menomonie 27, Monroe 21. We'll be right back after this word from our statewide sponsors, rural insurance companies, M&I Banks, and Klein Dickert Glass. This is the WIAA Football Network.
I'll be working till the sun goes down. Done spent the time, another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
The largest insect is a dragonfly with a wingspan of over 2 feet. Before Columbus discovered America, most people believed the world was flat. Every 7.5 seconds, a windshield is nicked, chipped, or cracked by road debris. When the road hits back, the choice is clear. Call your nearest Klein Dickert Mobile Auto Glass office for quick, convenient, professional replacement of your auto or truck glass. Insurance approved, free estimates, priceless service.
We got glass for your truck or car.
Well, the celebration continues, and it's showing no signs of letting up down there on the Menomonie side of the field. Jim Sosha, Ken Golomsky back at Camp Randall. Coach, we thought it would be a good, even, exciting matchup, and I don't know. I think we thought right.
We got an excellent football game. 6 points separated to 2 teams. The game could have won either way. It appeared that Menomonie had the upper hand the second half, but then Monroe roared right back in that short drive, passing the ball downfield, scoring to bring it within 6, onside kick, and then it was just a question of Menomonie holding on right at the end.
Wow, two of the most successful high school football traditions in Wisconsin history. Monroe has lost a total of 2 games in the last 5 years. They lost them both to Menomonie, and they were both very tight games.
Yes, they were, and Menomonie doesn't lose very many games either. Been down here now 3 years in a row. Couldn't have had a better game, couldn't have finished the season, 1995 season, on a better note. And this is an excellent football game. They both represented their schools and their communities well, and a well-played game, clean game, just a hard-fought football game.
When Monroe took that 14-7 lead early in the 3rd quarter after the turnover, you kind of sensed that the Cheesemakers were in the driver's seat, but Menomonie quickly turned that momentum around.
Yeah, there was a couple big plays. The fake punt, the trick play was a big one. And then they came in and scored right away with that, and then a turnover by Monroe, and Menomonie scoring again, and then momentum seemed to turn over to Menomonie's side at that time.
Yeah, Menomonie got that touchdown to cut it to 1, 14-13. They missed the extra point, and again, you sense that maybe they'd lose that momentum, but they were just too mentally tough. They wouldn't give in.
They were up, and we have to hand the Menomonie defense. They did a nice job shutting down Lancaster, and he's been a very potent offensive force for Monroe all year, and they're really the only team that did that all year. So if you shut down your #1 horse, you have to go to something that you don't do quite as good as you do with him running the ball.
It's trophy time. Let's go down to the field.
And now will the coach of the Division II runner-up team, Pat Martin, please come forward to receive their trophy. And now will the captains of the Division II championship team, Menomonie, please report to the awards table and receive the individual medals for the championship team. And now will the coach of the Division II championship team, Joe Labuda, please report to the awards table and receive the Division II championship trophy.
So once again, the final score from Camp Randall in the Division II WIAA state championship football game. It's the Menomonie Indians 27, the Monroe Cheesemakers 21. Ken Golomsky, it was everything we thought it would be, and I'm thankful for that.
I am too. It's been a great season, and it was a great tournament. Both nights are filled with some excellent football games and great efforts by the players and outstanding jobs by the coaches. Just a great way to end the season.
Thanks to you for watching, and thanks to our crew for doing a great job this weekend under some very cold conditions. It's Menomonie 27, Monroe 21. Thanks for watching. Good night, everyone.
The 20th Annual State Football Finals are a sports exclusive of the WIAA State Network and have been brought to you by the Rural Insurance Companies, providing Wisconsin families and businesses with a full line of insurance needs. M&I Bank is proud to sponsor WIAA football and congratulates this year's finalists. M&I Bank, we're just the partner you need. And by Klein Dickert, we've got glass for your truck or car. 7 Wisconsin locations to serve you, and proud to be a WIAA sponsor partner.
Exclusively on News Channel 8.
The 1995 WIAA High School Football Championships are brought to you on WKBT by Farm and Fleet, Subway, Darrell & Power, and St. Mary's University of Minnesota.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.